lights are off. I'm gonna find my way tonight. Way tonight. Won't you talk to me? I wanna heal your sorrow. Talk to me. We'll make a new tomorrow. Won't you talk to me? One night to find the answer. Talk to me. What makes this heart beat faster? What makes this heart beat faster?
Okay. All right. Now I can hear myself. I can hear me. I didn't know I got it all unplugged for a bit. So sorry for that. Okay. Now I got it. I got it. Sorry for the inconvenience. I got it all weirdly plugged. So my audio was out. So sorry for the I did some new changes here in the with everything. I have some new equipment that I've been adding to produce better content, so I have to kind of rewire a lot of things. Always, every time you have to rewire stuff, it becomes convoluted. So sorry for that, but trying to make sure everything is good. We have tonight we have a little bit of snow. Today started around 4 o'clock or so. It's been snowing nonstop in the Carolinas, which is something that we don't really get to see much, but this year has been interesting. So they may cause some issues. I'm making sure that all my equipment is working. I'm looking at this. For some reason this one is not working properly. Whatever, it happens. In any case, trying to make sure. I think just the quality of the playback, maybe. Depends. Okay, it's not working anyway. I ain't gonna be fighting with it. Hey, But Agent, welcome. Thank you for stopping by, my friend. I appreciate your support as usual. Let me restart this. I restart my screen, my tablet, so I can I use that little screen just to kind of follow up with your comments and all. We'll figure it out. It's always a pain trying to get technology rolling. I was thinking about doing this live stream yesterday. That was the plan, but I was tired, exhausted. It was been a long week at work, and you know, so tired I didn't do anything. Then I thought about doing it in the morning, but because we were preparing for the storm today, of course I got a lot of things to do. Go to the store, get stuff. The store was crazy, getting supplies, all of that. Just never know how things can, how bad can they get. So nobody wants to be out on the road. So I went there, took care of a couple of things here in the house, things that we needed to take care of. My wife, she hurt her knee. She felt this week, so she hurt her knee, so she needs a lot of help. So I've been taking care of a lot of things that she normally does, just to give her a break. Accidents happen. So so definitely it's been a busy week, and work has been crazy, very demanding this week. A lot of stuff going on. But in any case, you know, I don't want to pass the opportunity to chat with you, talk about collectibles, the things that are happening, of course, in the statue world, in the toy world. There's always a lot of news. Of course, you know, we were not doing it for almost 8 months or 9 months or so. So coming back, last live stream, thank you for those who were here. We covered a lot of ground. I try to cover as much as I could. Not always, you cannot always do everything. But thankfully thank you that you were with me for 4 hours straight. 4 hours, we cover a lot of ground, and I appreciate that you were there to support me while we were doing it, which was great. In any case, let's get this done. Okay, this is what's happening with this. Problem that I have is the type of does this nonsense here. Okay, whatever. All right, so it's doing good. In any case, tonight we have things to cover, and I want to cover. There's not really, I would say, like craziness, but too much craziness going on this week. There's been some interesting reveals, and I want to cover those reveals, of course. I give an opportunity to everyone. No audio. Let's see. There's no audio. Hello. No audio. Let me make sure. Oh, yeah, there was no audio. Thank you. It's a little bit of delay. Yes, we fixed it. So sorry. There was early on. I'm going back to the comments, and they was talking about no audio. It was just early on. So sorry for that. Okay. I think we couldn't do it early on, so maybe just the delay. Oh, okay, good. Sorry for that. I think it's because of some delay in the video, perhaps. But yeah, initially we couldn't hear anything because I got it all not hooked, but now it is. So Batman, thank you for stopping by, Batman. Thank you, Silent, for coming too. Thank you for stopping by. Like I was saying, tonight we have to cover a few things. Okay, I was just making sure. Man, when you're the one-man person... Okay, good, thank you. When you're the one person doing everything, it's hard when you got to get all done. And I'm still working on getting some more equipment, getting better equipment, better everything too. So it's a process, you know, trying to find the time to add better cameras. I'm gonna try to add a better camera soon to this live streams. This is not a bad camera, of course, but it's a web camera. I want to use a real camera just to do everything on this actually live stream, whatever. Well, we'll get to that. The important part is always to talk about the things, you know, to have the opportunity to share and to discuss. And today I want to talk about, particularly I want to talk about, you know, we don't have that much in action figures, but I want to talk about Mondo. Of course, last week we talked about all the Master of the Universe figures that have been releasing on the 1/12 scale. They released this week a new Man-at-Arms, and it looks really nice. It really looking really nice. So I want to cover it. Last week I wanted to talk about a Hellboy that it's available at Sideshow from BigBoyToys. I was planning it. It was on my list, and for some reason, of course, it was a long night. I skipped it, but I want to cover it today. If you're into the big boys, into the big vinyl figures, action figures, we're going to cover that. I want to talk about Sideshow Collectibles. They have on their part of their Star Wars line, they released a new figure, 1/6 scale. So I want to look at that. On the statue world, I want to go back to Infinity's statue, and this Italian company. They released this week an Eric Draven, the Crow 1/10 scale PVC statue. Looks great, actually. And also I saw the announcement that they're going to release a 1/4 scale for that, also coming very, very soon. But they released a 1/10. Great price too, as a PVC statue, 1/10, perfect size for those who are conscious about the space. And then I want to cover Iron Studios. Of course, they release a lot of things. This, they Inside Iron Studios showcase that they always do on Fridays, the last Friday of every month. They just released yesterday. They had a lot of releases. So, because of course I have skipped Iron Studios for a while, we're gonna go back and I want to look at some of the stuff that I think is special from this company. So I think I'm going to give a special time to Iron Studios today. We're going to talk about particularly the stuff that just released for Senseiya. They released a Shaka statue, Sandman. Also, they have stuff for Avatar. They have a Toph statue. They have the Shadow Weaver part of the Master of the Universe line. They got a Superman Absolute, which I think it looks great if you're into more modern renditions of Superman. They released an Ultraman. If you're into, anything that has to do with Disney, they got a Winnie the Pooh. But also they have released other things recently. Mileena, of course, the character from Mortal Kombat. We're going to look at Mileena. And also we're going to look at Obi-Wan Kenobi, part of their signature collection, which technically is that they release in a 1/10 for those who want, something that is, like something more affordable, space conscious, that you'll go for the 1/10. But if you're looking for like the big stuff, you're still collecting 1/4 scale. They have a 1/4 scale, the same statue, which I think is a great idea to tackle both things and to cater to two different audiences. I think Iron Studios is doing a lot of fantastic things. So we're going to look at some, and not only that, but a lot of the things that they're doing and they have been releasing recently. Then I'm going to look at Tsume Art. If you're a fan of Cobra, we're going to look at Tsume Art and the stuff they're doing. They have a new Cobra statue with Dominique Ikage, which is a 1/6 scale statue. Looks really neat. I want to also look, going still into my, in this case, talking more about Sensei, I want to look at Zodiakos Studio. They release a Sagittarius, a statue 1/6 scale. We're going to go to Spec Fiction for that. And then, of course, we're going to look at Prime 1 Studio. We're going to look at the Batman, the Berserker Rage Mode statue, one that was highly anticipated, final release. We're going to look at it. Also, they have a life-size bust for Godzilla -1. Looks fantastic. Of course, these were showcased previously, now finally on pre-order. And finally, I want to tackle the Wolverine Bust by PCS, which in my opinion is the best bust they have released in the line so far. I think it's the best thing they have done so far. It looks fantastic. Beautiful piece. We're gonna look at it. That will be the icing on the cake. Iron Studios is doing amazing work. While it's crying, I think Iron Studios is doing a fantastic. And if you are space conscious and you are concerned about your how much are you spending right now, I think 1/10 is a perfect line. It's a perfect collection. I have 1/10 scale statues for Iron Studios here, and I'm telling you, they look fantastic. They're amazing on display. They're high detail. I have a few, and they're great pieces, and I love them. I think Iron Studios is doing amazing work, and it's impressive. And you can come up with so many things, and you really don't break the bank per se, although right now 1/10 has gone up in price and some of those pieces are going to be expensive, but there are also some that they are really affordable. And Iron Studios has been done also, as we mentioned before, the option where they do the deluxe versions that come with more stuff, but sometimes just the regular version is more than enough if you're building a large collection. So we're going to look at Iron Studios today and look at the stuff they're doing. All right, so let's get into it. And for that, I'm gonna take you first and let me know if everything is fine, if the audio is fine, all of that, music and all. But I'm gonna take you to, let's go to here. I'm gonna take you to Mondo. We're gonna go to Mondo first and look at the stuff Mondo is doing amazing, of course. I think this is going to be a fantastic year for Mondo. It is already a fantastic year. They have released so many things. We have talked about all that last week. If you missed that video, I invite you to go there. Please don't forget to leave a like too, and to comment. Let me know what you think about it. So we covered all of that last week, but this week we're looking at this one. This is again part of the Master of the Universe 2000 line, the 112 scale line that I think has been phenomenal. This is a time edition, something that I hate from Mondo, but that's something that they do. They seem to thrive doing it. If you do the time editions, you get some extra stuff sometimes, some extra things. I'm okay with them doing time editions as long as they're also regular edition. You know, like if you do a time edition, do it combined with an exclusive. But I more of a fan that they do regular versions, and sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. It's kind of weird the way Mondo does it. This one is just time edition, which means that this is going to available all the way to the 10th. Now, when you look at it, and first, before we get into it, let's kind of give homage or honor to the people involved here. You have Amos Hemsley, the artist, Emiliano Santalucia, who has been involved with this since the beginning, Scott Akers and Tommy Hodges. They have been involved in this process. $120 for a lot of people. That's a lot of money. Yes, it is a lot of money for 112 scale figures, but let's not compare this with another 112. This is not cheap 112 figures, or like things like you get from, I don't know, even McFarlane sometimes, with not enough, or basic figure, not enough accessories. This is more high-end in a way because you get a lot of different accessories. Supposedly articulation is better, although all of that has to be proven too. It has been proven good in some of the stuff that they have done so far with the real Ghostbusters. That has been as of now, the stuff has been released for 112. Everything else prior has been 16. But this comes with more premium stuff, more quality stuff, mixed media, all of that. But now looking at it, it is as you can see, the fur in his loincloth, it's just like little material. So there's some material, there's some mixed media. That is cool. Let me see. And I'm trying to make sure I can see your comments. Sorry, things acting up a bit. Okay, there we are. Sorry for the interruptions. Trying to get things done anyway. If not, I'll do it here too. Sometimes during the phone works best. It says, just an awesome figure. Did you pre-order him? To be honest, I haven't pre-ordered this line. Not yet. I haven't done anything yet. And because I didn't do He-Man, I just didn't feel like doing it. And to be honest with you, between the figures that they have released so far, of course, they have done some amazing ones. I think this is perhaps one of the best, if not, maybe, I don't know if it's the best per se, but every time Mondo has done Man-at-Arms, as they did the first time, there was the first figure they released for the 1/6. That was an amazing figure. And I think this kind of follows the same. And I like the figure. So I've been tempted and I've been thinking to do it. And I may end up doing it. I don't think it's a bad price at all. Even at this, yes, it would be nice if it was cheaper. But it comes with a lot of different accessories. Even the portraits, you can see the different portraits. Not bad at all. And I think articulation is fine. Yeah, I would have loved this to be $100. I think $100 would be the perfect price. Not the best price, but at least perfect. $120 plus then you got to pay shipping. All of that definitely adds up a little bit. But it does come with the base. Although I would say if you reduce the price and you do a regular version without base and just the figure or maybe a few accessories, just the basic ones, be more than enough. It's 6 3/4. It's nice size. It's around the same thing that you will find with, McFarlane toys. And I do like, of course, that you got this switch out portraits. And this is a nice picture. And from every angle, it's a very photogenic piece, very colorful, very nice figure. That skeleton looks great, by the way, and it's looking good. Now that effect, electric effect or whatever, or the power effect or the thunder effect, it's okay. You know, you could save a few bucks just by not adding it. But yes, looking at the work, of course, this is a prototype, so it's gonna look the best. But they have done a really nice job in portraying it. And I would say, you know, yeah, He-Man looks great. I think it's a great figure. But I like Man-at-Arms a lot. I think perhaps it's the best in the lineup. At least in my opinion, this is the one that it looks the best. And of course, with that extra portrait, I think is when he became a lizard in the cartoon, if I'm not mistaken. I have the cartoon. I haven't really watched it in a long time. I have a DVD. They should bring it back in Blu-ray. I think that guy, I forgot his name. Y'all, you know, the claw guy, I forgot his name. I actually forgot his name right now. But that is a beautiful large piece figure. Beautiful figure for sure. And, you know, the thing about this scale is that you can come up with, you know, beautiful dioramas of your own. And you can do so much to it. Something that is more limiting with the 1/6. And yes, I have, of course, figures for the Master of the Universe for the 1/6 scale collection here. And they're fantastic. I, you know, have it on my display. Right now, I don't have it on display. I need to set up a display for them. But I have them. I had it on my display in our previous home. But now, you know, and that home, all I can do is just display him standing up. That was it. There was nothing else I can do. But here, this one you can do it this way. I like the bases that come with it. I like the added bases are better than the bases that came with the 1/6 because those bases are very simple. But these are the way to do it. They kind of play with the character. They tell a story. So I like that. But yeah, you can do dioramas with them. I think as a 112, they're more fun to play with. And you'll be able to do way more things and use your imagination if you want to come up with a display, create a diorama, a battle diorama, all of that. I think that's what makes these figures excellent. Very nicely detailed. I love the pictures that Mondo always takes on the figures. Make them look even bigger and more grandiose that they, you know, actually are. Look at them together right there. Yeah, that's the only thing. I would say crazy about the portrait of He-Man because it's not as, you know, it's close to the cartoon, the 2000s cartoon, but it's a little off for some way. I don't know if it's just the eyes. They seem to be a bit too small to me. The nose, the lips, the eyes. I don't know. But I would say that this figure, Man-at-Arms, is the one that looks the closest to the cartoon. So yeah, very nice figure. Definitely they have done a nice detail there. I'm going through all the pictures so we can see them all. Very nicely painted, nice detail, nice wash in the clothing. So he's a Man-at-Arms. You can see that he's been through battle. His armor shows that. And there's different parts that can be added, and definitely the base there. And you can have that regular base there, or you can add it more detail to it to look even more impressive. Different angles of the weapons. You know, this is for scale reference. As you can see, Man-at-Arms is not the tallest, but definitely is is very impressive. You know, it's very, very impressive. All of them. I would say this collection is nice. You know, honestly, going thoughtful. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Agent. I appreciate it. Hey, what's up? It's Skill Power. Skills Power. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you, Clawful. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. But looking at them, like when you look at them like that side by side, I'm telling you, it is a very nice collection. And being the scale they are, you don't really have to run much out of space and still have them together. Yes, statues are amazing, but figures are too if you know how to play with them. If you don't know how to display them correctly, they can be awesome on their own. So I'm thinking, you know, I missed the pre-orders of these three. You know, I may go back and get them, you know, like the regular versions or whatever. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm probably will end up just biting the bullet as I have done in the past. I like it. I think, again, you know, Mondo's doing really a fantastic thing. And when we look at the stuff they are producing here, of course, let me see if the other ones, I don't remember. We talked about it last week. Oh, yeah. You know, the time edition thing. sold out. This one, which came with the base and all, that was part of the exclusive elements. But I would go maybe just for the regular. Look at that, still available, which is great. And that's the only thing, is that they still have the regular He-Man without the base, which is great. Pretty much has almost everything necessary. Clawful is the one that it's the only one that is time edition, but they didn't come up with a regular one. Now, let me see this. Let's go to Big Bad Toy Store, because it may be that they have it there. So Mondo Matu. Let's see what comes up. Of course, it comes all the 1/6 scale stuff that they had, but they have the versions here. They still have the Skeletor, the regular version of Skeletor, which I like. I have the time edition too. They have He-Man version there. So they have all these different variants. That's all they have right now. But in any case, look at this Tila. Look amazing. So yeah, I might just go for... And they only have 5 left of this Tila. But when you look at the Masters of the Universe, maybe... No. So, maybe, as they eventually do, probably they come up with it. They'll bring it back as maybe with less things, without the base, just regular. I think that'd be perfect. Still, it's a beautiful piece for sure. I think, again, Mondo has been doing really, really amazing. Impressive as a company. Definitely they are. All right, my friends, let's move on. I want to move on now to... I want to take you to Sideshow Collectibles. And the reason why I want to take you to Sideshow is so we can go to the next thing. And okay, come on, man. Oh. Sometimes changes so much. So we're gonna look at a lot of different things here in a moment. But I want to talk something that I skipped last time. And we covered a lot of these things right there. I want to talk about this vinyl action figure. This is Hellboy. This is Big Boys Toys. For those who are familiar with Big Boys Toys, there's a company. I'm gonna just kind of look at everything they have released. This stuff they have released, particularly what they're known, and I knew them, started seeing them stuff and they were really, I saw a lot of friends that I have in Southeast Asia. They were showcasing this and their own things and collections. It's a lot of this PVC figures, kind of like a cartoony style of the Street Fighter. I think the first one that I ever saw was this Ryu. All of these pieces, and there was also Vega. They're all sold out. They have done really, really well. They have done other things. They started now doing stuff with the with King of Fighters. But look at this. This is where they were doing just a design concept thing, cartoony, very Japanese in a way. But I think this is not a Japanese company, but a South Asia company, maybe Hong Kong company. But look at this with light up features and all that stuff. So that's how I got them. If you're they're very cute in a way, but very fun, particularly for those fans of Street Fighter. They've been doing really, really nice depictions of this. Beautiful. And of course they have done others. Look at this one, this Dalsum, and they sell out quickly. They become very, very popular. Look at this one. That is very colorful. I will tell you, Dalsum was one of my favorite characters in Street Fighter 2 back in the day, when in the 90s when I used to be in the arcades. I remember learning to play Dalsum. I saw a guy who was a master with it. You know, at that point, when I was playing, you know, I remember Street Fighter, I used to go to the arcades daily to play Street Fighter. And I remember during that time, there were, I used to do it all the time. I used to go to arcades every day. I grew up in the arcades. I'm good at fighting games. So, not the best, you know, a little rusty after so many years, but I used to be good at it. I saw this guy playing with Dhalsim, and he was such a fantastic player. And I never understood, you know, up to that point, I never seen nobody playing Dhalsim. I always saw everybody for, you know, the classic, you know, everybody was playing, you know, Ryu, Ken. I saw a lot of people doing Sagat. I used to be good with Sagat too. I saw people mastering, of course, Bison. Every character, you know, I saw him being mastered, all the characters. But the one that I always found it to be the weakest, what I thought was the weakest, was Dhalsim. Until I saw that guy. And I saw the potential. And I started practicing and practicing and practicing. And I became very good at it. But it was because I saw somebody using it as a way that I never saw it. Dhalsim knew how to keep people at bay, at distance. He was, even though the attacks were not that strong, they were so annoying. So yeah, this is just for reference, but just to tell you like what I remember. And of course you see Kyu from a King of Fighters, also light up features. You know, they're nice. They've been doing this beautiful things for a while. Very popular, very well known for a lot of fighting aficionados. Those who like the arcades are gonna like it. So it's cool. They've been doing this. This is how I know about this company. I didn't know anything else besides what they were doing. Recently they got this Blanca too, which looks also great. So they've been doing this. This has been their bread and butter. But now, look at this. This Blanca looks really crazy like that with the light up. PVC looks nice. Nice, you know, showcase piece for your collection, for your gaming collection. Look at this. You can put it side by side, create like an effect of a battle. That is what you're trying to do. However, now they're starting to get into vinyl stuff. And the first thing I see that they're doing, look at this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, also beautiful statue. But is this Hellboy statue? No, statue, action, vinyl statue, $240. It's not cheap at all. And at first I wanted to skip it, but then I saw it and I was looking at it. And it seems that vinyl figures like this are becoming popular. Mondo's been doing, other companies have been doing a lot of this vinyl kind of cartoony, kind of street urban style art, and I like it. Look at this one. It does come with a lot of different parts. Of course, comes with the sword. It's 11.4 inches tall, so it's, you know, good size. You know, good size. Close to 1/6, you know, statue in scale. If you in reference, point of reference, they're normally like Bowen were like around 11, 12. So it's more or less is the same as a 1/6, but I like the art. Of course, it has that cell shaded art, and I like that, you know, you can do certain things with it. You know, it's not like it doesn't have a crazy articulation, but you can come up with some different poses. It's very, very beautiful in my opinion, and impressive. Also, the trench coat. The code is actually actual material. And it looks really nice. I like the size of that gun, his pistol. It's just super, it's huge. And he has a holster too and everything. Looks really neat. You can change the horns. It's a really nice, you know, it's different. I would say, yeah, I wish it was cheaper than $260. But other than that, it's very nice. I like it. I think this company, it's a great, hopefully they also do others besides Hellboy. You know, that would be Abe Sapien would be great if that's a companion, but also they can navigate other characters. I would love to see like a Savage Dragon and so many of the other characters that, you know, they're coming from Image Comics too, or more characters too. Cluster Johnson, or, you know, there's so many characters. So it's kind of cool. $240 is going to release sometime this year. Beautiful vinyl. I would like to see it in person, to be honest, to determine if it's going to be like all that. But in any case, that's something that I wanted to show you today just for reference. So now there was something else that Sideshow. Now moving on in the action figures, I want to go to this figure. This is part of the Sideshow collection, 6-scale figure collection, and this is in reference to the stuff they have done for Star Wars. They announced this, of course, I think last year. Was last year or the year before? They were announcing all these figures. Slowly they've been making room for them. These are figures, of course, Scum and Villainy, as they call it, the line of these more obscure characters, part of course of Star Wars. All the different characters, like you can see right there, like the Gambler clad to Wooof is an olive colored Nikto. It's suspicious were especially suited for harsh desert climates. His scaly skin, small horns, and intense eyes give the smuggler a tough appearance. And of course, this is part of the characters that appear in Return of the Jedi. You remember that with what was that? With Java, with they were all on top of that. I forgot the name. They were about to throw Luke to be eaten alive, but yeah, here's all those characters. So it's kind of cool that they doing it. And you know, I would say sometimes people miss that because, of course, let's be honest, Hot Toys has done an amazing job in recreating so many characters of the Star Wars universe. And sometimes people tend to forget that actually Sideshow was doing it way before Hot Toys for a long time. However, the figures were surpassed. As soon as Hot Toys came with them and started doing the Star Wars, they surpassed everything that Sideshow did. However, one thing that I would fault Hot Toys is that Hot Toys does sometimes the same thing over and over, which means they do a lot of, you know, stormtroopers. They do different variations of stormtroopers. There's so many stormtroopers, and of course they do many characters and the basic characters or the main central focal characters. There's not that many of the obscure characters, the ones that they were on the sides, the ones that if you want to recreate a big scenario, if you're a completionist, you want to have every character recreate every scene possible, then you need to have these extra characters that are more obscure. And I think in this case, this is an option, a great option. As you can see the guys in the background, they've all been released, and they're all part, of course, of the Star Wars lore. And it's cool. Sideshow is doing some nice things here. And if you want to complete the scene with Jabba the Hutt, you know, definitely you will have them. As you can see, all of them together. You're really looking for that complete, you know, be a complete diorama with that scene, with everything in Return of the Jedi. Then definitely, why not? This is going to be another addition. It comes with 2 gripping hands, 2 relaxed hands, and Biber Spear. It doesn't have that many accessories, but do you need all the accessories? Look at all the whole collection. When we saw this at the, what was that, Sideshow Con, I was impressed by the whole, you know, the whole thing. They all sold separately, but it's kind of cool. And if you have Jabba, yeah, alongside it, then definitely it's going to look amazing as a display. So yeah, I would say so. It's interesting what Sideshow does here. For example, look at this short video showcasing everything as they presented at Sideshow Con with Jabba right there, all the display. It's very cool. Again, this is for the completionist. This is for the person who loves Star Wars, who wants to complete a scene and is building a particular scene. It's for everyone. No, it is not for me. But I have mad respect for those who are trying to build this collection and come up with every character possible. So yes, I would say kudos to them for doing an amazing job with that again. So yeah, we saw that. Pretty cool. And of course, this is what we covered so far with the action figures. We're doing pretty good time. It's time for us to move into statues, but let me drink some water first. Now let me know if the music is too loud. I don't think it is, but I may be wrong. In any case, let's move to statues. And here at Sideshow, this is where we're gonna be. Definitely we're gonna be here. We're gonna look at as I mentioned, this is the right there. This is what I want to talk about. This is Infinite Statue, this Italian company. I cover extensively last week everything they have released so far within action 1/6 scale figures. You know, pretty much we cover a lot of ground, particularly with with this statue that they released for the action figure they released, the 1/6 scale for the crow, which looks amazing, by the way. Looks amazing. And they have different variations. Of course, the premium one was sold out. Look amazing. This company does amazing. This Thailand company does amazing. But now they're also offering something that I think is also mindful of collectors that also are concerned about the price and they're concerned about space. And this is part of their what they call now the Icon X line, which is their PVC line, 1/10 scale line. And they have this crow statue, figurine, whatever you want to call it. It's a statue because he doesn't have articulation, and it looks really, really neat. And when you look at it, let me see if they have details for the artist. Oh yeah, they have the sculptor. They had Rocco Tartamella. Edward Pedretti is the sculptor as well. The painter is Dario Barbera. Fabio Berruti is the art director, and Fabio Baresi is the production manager. And now let's look at this again. It's a 1/10 scale statue. Base and all, it's PVC, but looking at it, it looks like doesn't even look like PVC to me. It looks like a regular statue, like any material, polystone, resin. It looks like that. Very nicely detailed, encompasses this character well. The base, the title on the base, the chair, the sword. He's thinking, sitting down, the crow on his shoulder, on top of the chair. And the portrait. Of course, it is a 1/10. It's not going to have the same level of detail as a quarter scale, but it's been announced that the quarter scale is already coming. And I think the quarter scale, I'm not sure, but I think that's going to be made out of resin. So it's going to be more premium, but this is the smaller version for those who still have to have the same piece, but they're unable or unwilling to pay that much money for the bigger piece. And I think at $70, it's a steal of a statue. Even as PVC, it's a steal. When you come to compare about other statues in that scale, like from Kotobukiya, they're over $100 now with the Vishoyo. I think this is a great piece for sure. And look at that, they did a really nice job with the detail. Again, it's sculpted, it's smaller, it's PVC, so some of the detail, even in the hair, is not gonna feel as natural as it does with the figure, with the 1/6 scale figure. But still, at a distance on a display, nobody really knows the difference. It looks good anyway, and it looks really neat. I think they did a really nice job from different angles. You can see it. If you're a big fan of this film, you're a big fan, of course, of Brandon Lee. You're a big fan of Eric Draven, or even the comic book. Why not? The most recent movie I didn't watch. It didn't look good. Matter of fact, it looked terrible in my opinion. I'm not gonna throw judgment because I haven't watched it. I didn't feel the need of it. And of course, here's a shotgun. So it's a great detail for PVC, man. I'm telling you, it's a great detail. And the best part, again, is the price. It's a fantastic price. Now, it does have this thing where, like the same as McFarlane's been doing with their statues, which, by the way, they have some really nice statues. We have talked about a few here and there, but I've seen others at the store, at Walmart. I've seen a few. And I've been thinking about grabbing some. I saw one from the Punisher that looks really neat based on the art of Gimli. And what McFarlane does is that they do this display with the cardboard in the back. If you want to display like that, it's an option if you're really interested. Not necessarily a fan of the cardboard. I wish it was like laminated plastic or so, but it's cardboard. It's an option. If you want to come up with something like that, it's giving you something for $70. You cannot complain. You cannot complain. It's an option, but yeah, just without it, still looks amazing and neat. In any display. So yeah, for $70, definitely that's a steal in my book. All right, so let's move on. And I want to now, of course, now that we're coming to this part of the night, let's talk about Iron Studios. As I mentioned, Iron Studios did the Inside Iron Studios Day, which they always do at the end of the month, the last Friday of the month. They release a lot of different things, which is amazing. So let me go to them. And by the way, look at this book, the Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate Complete collection. They also got the Street Fighter Students with a special collection. These are all part of the U-Down collection. I actually have this book. I do have this book, but I have the deluxe edition, the special edition that is only sold through U-Down. Stay tuned for that. I want to review it. I want to show it to you in the channel. It's a really nice book. I came with extra things as a deluxe version. If you order directly from Udon, that's what I did. But it's coming for $60. The regular version is coming, and it has the beautiful art of this. So I recommend it. It's going to be released. You can find it in a lot of different places, not necessarily here, but you can have it at Sideshow. I love the art too. In any case, moving towards Iron Studios. Here we have Iron Studios. Let me actually showcase everything Iron Studios has been doing. But again, thank you for watching. All of you, thank you. So many things on sale, so many things they have. Let's show the filters. They got the recommended, but we're gonna go for the newest. Now, going through everything here, for example, a lot of things have been released. I didn't cover this last time. We're gonna try to cover as much as we can, today, and really kind of go deep into all the things. For the last 9 months, we haven't really done much, but we're gonna cover as much as we can here, just for reference. But yeah, man, look at this. It's like 2 large spaces. I remember, actually, this is the last thing I covered. It was our Vader on Tron Deluxe 2, which is now available for sale. And Mace Windu, we talk about it. But let's start first with kind of going through the paces. Let's go with Virgo, Shaka, and then we're going to look at some of the other stuff. Of course, you're a Senseiya fan. I grew up with Senseiya. I grew up in Mexico, so we had Senseiya in the 90s. We were watching Senseiya in the early 90s. I remember, or it was the late 80s. It was late 80s, early 90s. We were watching that popular around the world. And I'm telling you, of course, the Virgo is one of the characters there. And I would say, I've seen companies doing amazing work with Senseiya. But of course, it's pricey. You're looking at stuff that is in the 1/6 scale range. There's also quarter scale range. Companies, it is expensive. But I think Iron Studios is managing that. And in this case, I'm telling you, Senseiya, the Knights of the Zodiac, were very popular in Brazil too. Were popular in Mexico, in Latin America, in Europe, around the world. US, it didn't come until later, way later, the 2000s or so. But it never really catch the way that it did. It never caught the same way, the popularity that it was caught everywhere else around the world. But in any case, very nice piece. And when I say Iron Studios has been managing to bring this as 110 and to bring these characters to light. As a 110, of course, doesn't have the same detail that you will have at a 1/6, but it's still, they're managing to do it in a very affordable price and very nicely detailed. And the work is done. It's a museum pose, and it really represents the character well. Virgo right there. It comes with an extra portrait with the open eyes, and it doesn't have his helmet. Very cool for display. It doesn't occupy that much space for sure. So I would say continues to be a really nice detailed thing. But when you look at Senseiya stuff here, like going through the details, what they have done so far, of course, we have seen big statues as Prime 1 Studio. But here, going through the stuff released so far, you can see, of course, Shaka. We also have Pisces, Aphrodite. This is another of the characters. These are the golden knights, which are great. Part of the first saga of the Athena saga is called at its call. But this case, they're fighting the Knights of the Zodiac, the golden armor knights. And here, of course, again, beautiful piece, simple, representing the character, the feminine side of the character, of course. And that's one thing I remember. That's something that if you remember Knights of the Zodiac or Saint Seiya, it was not afraid to showcase a little bit of more of that feminine side of characters. It was the first time, so at this point in my life, of course, talking about personally, I always saw, the macho style main characters. All the 80s, of course, you're talking about things like Masters of the Universe, Thundercats. You see these cartoons with these tough guys, muscles over muscles. I read the comic books, that was my idea, the Western idea. And all of a sudden, this guy showed up, which were more like feminine. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird and wrong. You know, it's like, this is... But then you love something like that. You start falling in love with these characters or the stories, and you're like, okay, but they're a little feminine. Some of them are kind of on the other side. No disrespect to anybody. I'm not trying to sexualize anything here. But what I'm saying, it was an interesting take. As a cartoon, these guys were just pretty, you know, but they were warriors, and you know, it's something that I'm telling you, if you grew up in that era, you understand what I'm saying. It was just like, okay, this is kind of weird that I'm liking something like this, but it's no different than, for example, I saw a lot of people kind of loving, you know, like Sailor Moon, for example. Of course, these are girls now, and Sailor Moon, I was like, it's just girls. How you can fall in love and like heroes, you know? I don't know. I think at the end of the day, characters are characters, and I think that the importance is not what I feel about what I really like about it. And I gotta be honest with you, something that was very different than that it is now is that I never felt that they were trying to. Yes, some of these characters was kind of iffy in a way, a little feminine, if you can call it that. But I never felt that they were trying to project some type of sexual message here on those stories to try to push you into any type of agenda. Something that happens now. Seems like everything is pushed towards it, but that wasn't the case. They were just different. Some characters, not all, but some were different, and I was okay with it. Some of them, they were cool, particularly when they were doing their battle poses or where they were doing fighting. So the things to consider. Sometimes here, of course, we got Libra, $405, but this one comes, of course, with all the dragons, and that adds more to the price point. It's an action pose, this one, but it's beautiful, definitely representing those dragons. Very nice detail. They did a really nice job with this one. I do like it. I would say that golden there, maybe they couldn't just simply leave it more like a light green. It would have been perfect. It would be more than perfect. Definitely is the most expensive, but definitely when you look at the details there and the action, I like the detail there that they do. The other ones are simple like this. The Shaka and Aphrodite, they just simple because, of course, they're museum poses, but this one has more going for it. Also, you got Sagittarius, Aiolos here, of course, Sagittarius. That's a little more expensive, but keep in mind that the wings, and he's carrying actually Athena. He rescues Athena, so he's carrying it. And I would say that a lot of it, yes, it does have a lot of inspiration on the anime, but I can see that also they took a lot of inspiration from the manga because I can see it on the style of the art. But here it's a very beautiful one, definitely with the wings, with the baby, with Saori, the baby Athena. Beautiful wings, and yeah, that's the reason why, of course, it's gonna require to be well protected in the base and in the box. So yeah, that is a very cool depiction of them. Look at this one, the Capricorn, Shura, another one, Capricorn here, and they've been completing all these characters here for sure. Beautiful. With the sword, I would say that I'm not necessarily crazy about the effect that they did with the, you know, his sword, because his arm is actually Excalibur or so. It does have the alternate head, which I like. What they could have done is because, I don't know. I think they did everything. I don't know. I think just the effect, if it's removable, that would have been better. That's the only thing that I'm necessarily a fan of. It didn't need to. They could have just simply do like a shine or something to the arm, but that is the only thing that I'm gonna dislike about this particular one. And we keep seeing more and more. Look at this one, for example. These are already on the wait list. You got Aquarius. Let's gonna go quick through all of them. We're gonna spend a lot of times here with our studios looking at some of the stuff that we've been missing. Simple, beautiful as it is. So I would say that that's one thing that I would you know, I like some of the statues that they're doing so far with the, you know, with this line, but some of them are too, you know, the only thing is it seems a bit inconsistent in a way. A lot of these characters, when you look at this, you know, Aquarius, Cadmus looks great. You also have Aries, Moo. They have the deluxe version. That's what they did. We talked about it and I remember this. They got the Aries, Moo the deluxe version, and they got the basic one. Also, the Cancer Death Mask. I think I covered that already. Leo, so they have all of them. They got Scorpio. Well, actually, yeah. And these are quarter scale. This is from Prime One Studio. But in any case, they're still missing one. One that I would love to see is Taurus. Taurus is one of my favorite characters there. But some of them, of course, because of the different pricing, there's a little bit differences. Like with Libra, they did, for example, the dragons, and they could have just simply go with a simple museum pose they with the others. It's gonna be the one that is gonna be look different in display because it's gonna be like in a battle pose, while the other's gonna be museum pose. So yeah, it's kind of like iffy that they went that way. It's good when all the kind of all follow the same trend. If you're gonna display them all together, you don't want to have one in action pose while the others are in museum pose, or vice versa. You want to kind of have, you know, they all kind of look similar in a way, so the display looks cleaner that way. But you know, it's just the way it is sometimes. I don't know why they chose to do it that way, but in any case, looks really neat. Kudos to them for doing something amazing again. Now, another piece that was released, you have Toph. If you're a fan, of course, of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I love. I've been actually watching this show, rewatching it again. I already finished watching. I'm already now watching, you know, in this case, Korra. I'm in the last season of the Korra. You know, I kind of like to go back and rewatch stuff. So I've been watching it, but definitely for me, Avatar was the best. But here, Toph Beifong. And we know that a video game is coming this year, a fighting video game. I'm excited for it. But when we look at Toph, they really did a number with the base. It's pretty large. It's an interesting take. The base is great, although at points I feel that it's too big. You know, I've never been a fan of some things that actually Iron Studios does this thing with the ratio with the statue and the base. Sometimes it's off, where I feel that the base is too big or bigger than the actual character. I like it when the ratio is smaller, when the bases are not as big, so the statue is what it shines. And you know, Toph is not a big character, so perhaps they needed to add more, make it bulkier, look bigger, more impressive. You know, because she's, you know, a tiny girl. But other than that, you know, it's kind of cool. They, of course, play some of the parts of this story. Still really nice. If you're an Avatar fan, I think they did a nice job with her face. Looks really neat. I like her face. And she looks great for sure. A little filthy all over for sure. But if you know Toph, she's a tomboy. So, you know, maybe it's just me. Maybe at some angles. At some angles it looks great. Some photos look great. I think in person it's going to look okay. And definitely representing Toph and her power. The earth, of course, that she controls. And if we look at some of the Avatar: The Last Airbender collectibles, let's see if we can see some of this stuff there. Right there, of course, we have seen some of it. We talked about this one before, which is the Aang. I wasn't crazy about the Aang because I found it extremely busy. But, however, we have seen, of course, now Toph. And we also have the now releases of Shaka, for example. Look at this one. 205. I like this one. I think it's a great depiction of Shaka. I would love to see a switch up portrait where it has a more like a quirkiness that he's known for. Would have been great. But other than that, I think it's a nice depiction of Shaka. So, with his boomerang, he's more of a fighting pose and all. It's kind of cool, honestly. It's a nice depiction. I'm not gonna deny it, but yeah, quirky portrait would have been great. I forgot the name of the creature that he's with. I don't remember it right now. In any case, he's there, kind of like a lemur. But then, of course, we got Katara, and I would say Katara also looks really nice. I think Katara is perhaps the one that has been managed the best. As you can see, the ratio with the base, it's not super big. It's just perfectly and shines her and like shows her And as you can see, looks a nice face. It's, I would say the portrait, not 100%, but it's still, it's very close in representing her power, and you know, where she's managing the water and, you know, forming as kind of like an ice. They really did a nice job with it. Very cool. And it does have the symbol of her clan, of her, the nation, the, you know, the water nation. So that's cool. $205 on pre-order. So they have done all of this, which is not bad as so far. Yeah, now that Zuko statue, I think that belongs to someone else. That's First for Figures. I think we covered it too before. But yeah, this is the angle which I wasn't crazy about. I found that it was too busy, and yes, representing the Avatar state or so, but I found that, you know, it could have been done better. So this is not the most impressive, but for those who are fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender, this could be something that you can add to your collection. There's nothing wrong with that. So moving on. So yeah, it's not bad. It's a nice figure. I like actually the statue itself. But yeah, I think the base is growing on me. Now let's look at the Shadow Weaver. This is of course part of the Masters of the Universe collection. Shadow Weaver, which technically is more of a, you know, She-Ra. It's the character than anything. But in any case, right here you can see, if you are building that collection and you are building all of the Masters of the Universe, or you're interested on that, then yeah, why not? That would be an interesting addition to the collection. Very cool. You know, it's not like, oh my god, super good. It might have actually also looked kind of hot too, you know, the physique. But you know, it's definitely very cool. Yeah, it's oops, I think I closed that thing by mistake. So looking neat. Now if I go there and Masters of the Universe collectibles, of course everything comes up, everything we have seen so far. But let me see the show filters. Newest. Okay, so we have seen all this stuff, of course. This is another one that was released from Idol Studios. This Zodak 110 scale, which is an interesting take, of course, they did with the Tron. But also it's very, very neat, very different, unique. It's a, you know, it's a nice take, to be honest with you. Something that is unexpected that they did it this way. But this is something that I would say Art Studios kind of thrive sometimes, but I feel like, you know, they can do some things that are expected, but they also can do some things that are unexpected. And I think this is, and you know, and that's something that I'm anticipating. It is becoming more of a norm to wait for the presentation every month where they showcase the releases, because some things are okay, while others blow my mind. And I feel that this one is one that I feel that is different. And honestly, it is a very nice depiction of this character, very different than what I anticipated that most people would do. And that is very good. It's a Tron. At the end of the day, it's a Tron statue, but done really nicely. And he looks impressive there for sure. So they did a really nice job with it. $265. I think it's a phenomenal price for 110. It's definitely a nice price. But you're looking at all this stuff, of course. There's more stuff from the company. I think we covered Faker before, but just in case we didn't, we forgot, we'll just go back to Faker. So yeah, it's definitely nice what they're doing. Building this, give it also a little bit of a modern take to the characters. But right now, of course, Master of the Universe is honestly, and that's the wait list right now, it's a commodity, you know, it's a hot commodity because there's so many things that you can see what they did, like the Triclops. So 95 when it came out, also the He-Man Unleashed, we covered that one as well. So yeah, they still kind of grow in that. You know, there's so many amazing statues they have produced. The Skeletor Unleashed, also, we talked about it before. The He-Man and Battle Cat, we covered that before. So, you know, the She-Ra and Swiftwind Deluxe, amazing statue also. That was an amazing statue for She-Ra. as a 110 and impressive with that, the span of those wins. So when you look at all these characters, She-Ra, Skeletor, Merman, they have done so many interesting things. Tila and Orko. Yeah, I would say that Iron Studios is impressive, and it continues to impress with what they're doing with the Masters of the Universe line, with the He-Man and She-Ra line. I think they have a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential. I cannot wait to see what else they're gonna have in store for us. So yeah, that was cool to watch. But in any case, keep moving. Let's keep kind of rolling this stuff. It's fascinating so far what we have seen. Now, if you love Ultraman is a classic character, of course, will always be. And $195, they went for the most classic pose where he does his power thing, where he cuts, like it's kind of cool. And if you grew up with Ultraman, if you remember Ultraman, I did not grow up with Ultraman, of course. I didn't watch it much as a kid, but I knew about Ultraman, and I saw some of the movies as a kid. It fascinated me, the character and the inspiration, and definitely Ultraman is just doing what Ultraman does. It's very cool, very nice. And of course, we have seen bigger statues from Prime 1 Studio, large statues, but I think as a 110, perfect scale. It's perfectly nice. You don't break the bank with it. And if you want Ultraman in your collection, and definitely look at the diorama, the buildings, little things, it's cool. Very nicely detailed, very nicely done. It's just clean, perfect the way it is. So there you go. Ultraman has his own statue from Iron Studios. Very nicely done by them. Now, moving into the stuff, we have the Sandman. This is, of course, for those fans of the Marvel, and we have seen different statues from Iron Studios. This is an impressive looking Sandman, honestly. Look at that Sandman statue. There's been a lot of different Sandman statues. Some of them are okay, but I will tell you, this one in particular has impressed me. Oh, look, I'm sorry, I didn't really look at the notes here. I'm sorry, let me go back. Clawful, Shadow Weaver looks good. Yeah, it does. Love this piece. I'd be in trouble if I was collecting the Motu line. Yeah, I know, man. I would be in trouble too if I was collecting them. But look at this one. I think Sandman looks fantastic. The sculpt looks amazing. I love the body type. They gave him the musculature that I do always seen in the comics. The scale, the portrait looks really neat, and also they showcase his power, the way he's doing the powers, with his arms, the different arms, the maces and stuff, and the hammer and all, the sand on the ground. It's a perfect depiction that would look amazing. Yeah, even as, I don't know, as a quarter scale, but as a 110 scale is perfect. If you are building your Spider-Man collection, this is the perfect depiction of Sandman, to be honest with you. And Sandman is a character, again, that deserves to be on other scales. The last Sandman statue that I remember, there's been a couple statues here and there, but all right. Who did the last Sandman statue? That was Bowen Designs that I remember. Let me see if there's been a Sandman quarter scale, because now I think there's been, I don't know if X-Men did it. Sandman statue. Yeah. We have the one from XM Studios. Here is Spec Fiction. Yeah, which is not bad. Beautiful as a quarter scale. Also representing the character, and you can change it into multiple parts. Not a bad one. Beautiful statue for sure. A lot of detail there. I would say they did a really nice job. Again, XM did a really nice job, but there hasn't been that many statues of Sandman. Of course, when I say Sandman, also Sandman from DC Comics, from Vertigo, shows up. But in any case, that's the only one, and it's been other variations. Here you have Sandman. This is the actually 3D print scan from that they did. Actually, it's a 3D print that was taken, technically inspiration from the one of the Bowen Designs. So there's been a few. That is the Bowen Designs right there. It says Dynamic Forces. But that's the Sandman statue right there. So that's it's a Dynamic Forces too. I remember. I think Dynamic Forces was doing stuff with Bowen back then. In any case, it's been so long. So long since we have seen Sandman really like a statue. It used to be like we used to get a lot of them. But I think overall, I think just looking at this one right here from Iron Studios, X-Men has one, yeah. I think this is a fantastic depiction of Sandman. And they have done a really nice job. And if you're building this collection, this is the perfect depiction of it. For sure. Now, if I come up to... Let me give you this. Iron Studios. Spider-Man. Oh, we're going to look at some of that stuff in a moment. But we have some of the stuff. For example, recently they did this one. I know that this one went on pre-order. This is the original 10th anniversary. Also, and it's on the waitlist now, of their Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man that they ever did, which was this one. That it was a beautiful quarter scale piece, but also came with a lot of defects and a lot of issues because of the composition, because there were so many parts to put together. So a lot of people were not necessarily happy. It was a pain in the butt to put together. But ultimately, it was a beautiful concept, beautiful idea. Yeah, I hope they do Vulture. Yeah, that would be fantastic if they do it. But definitely, this is a fantastic piece. And of course, they've been doing now, when they arrive this for us a legacy, they've been doing the 1/10 scale of those classic quarter scale pieces that they have done, or they did in the past. I think this is a fantastic, beautiful piece. A homage, definitely, to the original that they created. And very nicely done. And as a 1/10, of course, perhaps with this one, they're able to minimize some of the damage that the original had and difficulty to put things together, because there were so many different parts together. Hopefully this one comes with instruction and all that. But yeah, it's kind of cool when you see this statue from Iron Studios right here. Of course, they have done others. We talk about the Ghost Spider. They did the Electro. We know that it's been on. We talk about it on pre-order. The lists are also on the wait list. The Mysterio has been on the wait list. The Dr. Octopus, which I think is great too. Look at this one. They've been doing all the Sinister Six. And as a 1/10, definitely they've been building this. And I would assume if they're doing the Sinister Six, then more than likely they're gonna do a Vulture, because it has to. They already have done a good number of the pieces. And the Sinister Six is probably the most classic team against it. So you have that, you got Lizard, you got them. Of course, we also got the Rhino as a 1/10, which again is a beautiful Rhino. Look at this one. Massive, very well done piece. But again, on the wait list, that is a beautiful Rhino. So again, they've been doing so many great things with this collection, that more than likely they'll have a Vulture eventually. Yeah, of course they did Kraven also. We saw Kraven before, also on the wait list. And that is an impressive Kraven for sure, with that tiger in the bag. That is an amazing looking piece for sure. And there's been, of course, the XM did the Kraven too. But this depiction of Kraven, to me, is superior to the other Kravens that we have seen in the past. Superior to anything that we have seen in the past. Yeah, you can think, of course, Bowen designs it an amazing, more classic. But this is a fantastic depiction. I'm telling you, when Iron Studios when they're cooking something, they're cooking something. And they definitely know how to entice you with their scale. But just because it's smaller doesn't mean that it lacks the, detail or quality. They still deliver on the quality part. So yeah, it's just great. And of course, you have the Miles Morales. We covered that. Venom. You got the Spider-Man 60th animated, which we talk about it. It's kind of cool. That is very neat. Look at this. Trying to, recreate that scene. Very cool. The idea, that was the collector's edition. That's the exclusive, because the collector edition was the regular, sold out without the portrait. I think it's just a variant. Technically, it's just a variant. But we're gonna come back to this statue, this diorama in a moment, because it's a larger diorama. So we're gonna come back to it. I'm gonna not skip it. But here, of course, they got this Iron Spider-Man, for example. This is part of the Iron Spider event, I think, from last year. Also, look at this one, based on the original that they created to quarter scale before. I think they did a quarter scale before. Other companies have done this. Very neat, very nicely done, to be honest. Perfect way to represent the character. I don't think many people have done this pose, because it's the best way to do it. We also got Spider-Man in black. This one is on pre-order right now. It's gonna release soon, but look at this one. Very nice depiction, very nice pose too. Very, very well done there. Beautiful depiction of Spider-Man in black. So yeah, I'm telling you, it's neat when you look at this stuff. Again, we're gonna come back to Spider-Man and MJ in just a moment, when we start going into a little larger pieces. But that looks really, really neat, as you can see. Now keep moving into other stuff that we have. Let me see. I want to make sure we cover. And you know, because we're doing Marvel stuff, might as well just do it. Let's just do that MJ. And then I'm going to do that Wolverine, because that Wolverine looks amazing too, quarter scale. We're going to just skip into larger scale. Oh, actually, look at this. This one that didn't show up is going to show right here. The Scorpion. Talking about the 110. This Scorpion looks fantastic. This is more 90s Scorpion. Because of the portrait. I remember when this style came out. Look, he's yelling and screaming. That looks really, really neat. And that green looks really well done. It's bright. I guess, you know, the light up that they use in that photo session makes it look even greener, but definitely looks very, very neat. Very nicely done. Again, they keep building this collection, the Spider-Man Rogues and the Sinister Six, and they're delivering on it for sure. So, that is impressive right here. Okay, so we already covered a few of this, you know, Marvel stuff. But hey, while we're here, let me actually go and start just kind of bumping the scale. Well, we're gonna start first with the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four look amazing for sure. No doubt about it. Here, of course, you have this already on the wait list. All the Fantastic Four showcased last year are already on the wait list. They sold quickly. The in my opinion, the best Marvel movie of last year. That was my favorite for sure. And here you have the Human Torch. Are they going to come up with one without his power? Probably. But this one looks neat. And I like how they did the effect of the flames in his body. In his, you know, suit and everything. That looks pretty neat. That's a nice sculpt in his face. Very nice way to represent the Human Torch. The tall piece because of that, but I don't think it's gonna be super tall. It's just the right size. And next to it, of course, we have the Invisible Woman, which Vanessa Kirby looks amazing with her son. And I think this is a beautiful statue. Look, 10.8 inches tall. I think the portrait looks amazing. The likeness is definitely on point. It's a perfect no, but it's all very on point, and it really represents the beauty of the actress for sure. Just maybe a little off, but that's just something expected at this scale. But it's just really neat, and I can see the details that I really didn't, you know, even though I have the movie and I watched the movie already again, 4K, you know, there are times that you don't really pay attention to certain details, but definitely, of course, you know, the statue companies normally they have access to a lot of the information there. Can't wait for that Scorpion. Yeah. So they do a really fantastic in recreating that. And the baby there, very nice detail there. with the base. Oh, I like the detail there, of course, with the Mole Man, monsters, all that. That is a very cool touch. And they did the representation of her power with the, you know, this is the power field, all that she does. Very cool, very nice depiction, very nice statue. Of course, on the wait list at the moment. But if we keep moving into other things here, of course, we have also the Thing. And the Thing, that looks great. Perhaps the portrait is not my favorite, but it still is a nice thing for sure. And look at that, and the detail with the taxi cab door just busted. It is an impressive statue as a 110, and I definitely is a nice pose representing him. Nice detail, very well done. And that really reminds me that we definitely need more Thing statues. I think there's not that many. I saw the little 110 Thing statue produced by Basic Classic Art, based by McFarlane Toys, with the PVC one. Doesn't look bad at all. But yeah, definitely there's the need for Thing statues in quarter scale too, 1/6 scale for a while. The last thing that we had, of course, we got the Sideshow thing. That was a long time ago, quarter scale, the premium format. And we have the Bowen Designs thing, which is amazing too up to this day. But since then, it hasn't been that many Thing statues. Did XM did one? I don't remember if they did. You know, I covered them for so long, and XM has been so quiet in recent years. It's hard to remember a lot of things. But in any case, here you have it. But I think the start of the whole thing, of course, the one that really is impressive as a whole completely, of course, is this one. This the Galactus Deluxe, which is a standout piece. Looks great. And if you have all that you can do, you know, you can have nice display with everything. It has the extra head with the light up feature. So you got a regular without and one with. They also got the invisible Sue Storm in one hand. And you can see the representation. You really don't have to have the other statues because you already have the little figures alongside them. And Invisible Woman can be replaced into one, of course, that translucent. And the Silver Surfer right next to it. It's a very impressive. It definitely was an eye catcher at San Diego Comic-Con last year in the showcase. Was San Diego Comic? Were they had it in San Diego Comic-Con? I don't remember, but they had it in their presentation in Brazil. But I think they had it in New York Comic-Con. But in any case, look at the Silver Surfer there. And the little detail, look at this. Cool. A lot of nice detail on this one for sure. It's an impressive statue. It reminds me a little bit of the poster. It reminds me a little bit of the Sideshow maquette. Their first one that was produced. Of course, Sideshow has produced two at this point. $1,000 is pricey, but keep in mind that the scale is a 1/20th scale, cannot be 1/10. If not, would be even bigger. But dimension wise, I think it's important to know the height is 29 inches tall. It's 74 inches. So it's pretty high, pretty tall for what it is. It's still pricey in my opinion. And if I'm missing something, I think, yeah, I missed this one and Mr. Fantastic there, which kind of look good. Like the detail that they did in the portrait and everything. Of course, the images that they came from the con. The likeness is there, honestly. Very well done. And they did a really nice job with this. I think the whole collection so far with this has been impressive. So if you're looking for a display of the Fantastic, you're a big fan of I'm a big fan of the Fantastic Four. So yeah, they're really nice pieces. This one is still almost sold out, $205. So you already have the other ones. You haven't gotten this one, then definitely it's time to go for it before it sells out. It's still sticking with Marvel stuff here. It's a couple. Let me just go through all the Marvel stuff that we didn't cover. We got the Phoenix. This is the white version. It's been in other versions, but this is the white version already on the wait list. Very nice detail. I would say it's cool as a piece. I think the regular version is more than enough, but you know, there's always those who are complete. They want to have everything. If you're a completionist, then why not? It looks great, but the original looks more than sufficient. Beautiful representation, beautiful sculpt, beautiful body, of course, design, and definitely this is the evil Phoenix, the white version. So that is neat. But also looking at Marvel stuff. Look at, let me show you this one right here. We missed two here. Well, I wanted to look at something, but I'm gonna look first at the Punisher. Look at the Punisher. The portrait, close. Is it very tall? I wouldn't say it's 100%, but it's a cool depiction. The portrait's close, not the best depiction so far, but it's something to consider. You know, continue with the idea of the stuff they've been doing for this collection. So here you have the Punisher. Also, look at this one right here. This is the Kingpin. I think the Kingpin looks a lot like the Nalfrio. So that is one that I would say probably is the one that is the likeness is on, is even closer. They did a better job with it. Look very realistic, even at a tiny scale. His suit and everything. The blood in his suit. The shoes. Very nicely done, very nicely painted. So this is the one that perhaps looks the most the closest to the concept that they're doing right here. No doubt about it. So yeah, that is cool. So yeah. So let's see if there's any other Marvel stuff before we get into the big babies. The big Marvel stuff. I'm gonna see the little Marvel stuff first, the 1/10 scale. If we didn't skip anything on this, and it seems so far everything so far so good. All right there. Yeah, there's a few things there that we skip. Of course, we talked about Spider-Man Black already, but this one right here, Blade 110. I think this is a nice, impressive Blade statue. $205, I think, is a very nice price if you're into Blade. And I like it because honestly, at first, when you look at this portrait with the hand like this, kind of covers the blade in his face. But I like the one with the extra hand where it actually extended right behind him. Either way, it's a nice depiction of Blade. Very cool. And that vampire is done. It's cool, actually. From this angle, it's not bad. Look at the blade right there. Very nice detail, trench coat, and everything. That's a very impressive statue. And price-wise, I think is great. Very nicely done. This is a beautiful, beautiful statue for sure. Skipping that one right now, moving to the Marvel. Continue with the Marvel stuff here, of course. Before I get into that Wolverine, because that's oh, look at this one. This is a Silver Surfer Deluxe. Beautiful representation of Silver Surfer. $355. I'm trying to think why it's when you compare it to Blade, why it's more expensive. And I think it's just because of that toll base, which honestly you can do without, and make it cleaner and simple. The base, not necessarily a fan, but I do like the depiction. It does bring me, it's John Buscema. I can see John Buscema art inspiration on an expression and everything. Beautiful, beautiful depiction of classic Silver Surfer. The base can be worked on, but other than that, it's not bad at all. And another one that can really not, if you have the Galactus can actually look nice next to Galactus as a companion for sure. So yeah, we saw Silver Surfer right there. Beautiful piece, Marvel. So now let me show you another Marvel piece right here. This one. Spider-Man and MJ. This is a 1/6 scale statue, $705. A different, unique take, honestly, but it's a beautiful take. We have seen so many variations and variants where you have MJ, and you know it's not the first time. Sideshow has done it. The J. Scott Campbell, still a beautiful one for sure, but this is a different take as well. And I like it. It does come with the extra portrait. You have the interchangeable portrait without the mask, and it's cool. Very nice. It's a 1/6. Very a love story. If you're into kind of like those love stories, I'm into those kind of statues. So I like it. I think they did a really nice job with it. Angel looks playful. She looks, you know, hot, of course. And the playfulness in there and how they're looking at each other, staring at each other, that's great. That is definitely a sexy looking piece just because of that. But I like the paint job, the colors, the classic blue. And he has his flowers in the background. You know, Iron Studios has been doing amazing of this type of statues when they do. They definitely following the footsteps of Sideshow in that regard. And the paint job is excellent. Definitely the color is good. It's a nice piece. I think they have done better with the base not as tall? Yes, they could have. But I think it looks neat the way it does. Maybe make it a bit smaller perhaps, but it's just representing this scene. Of course, they are on top of a building and all, and this billboard thing. So it's kind of cool. Very playful statue. Very well done. Very well applied. $700 steep. But keep in mind there's two statues technically in one. And it's a standalone piece, which that is great. Now, if we continue doing, of course, Marvel stuff, the last Marvel piece that I want to cover before we move to something else within Iron Studios, because again, we have plenty to talk about Iron Studios tonight. I want to talk about, of course, this Wolverine. I cannot skip this Wolverine. Wolverine, of course, always a fantastic piece. When I saw it, I'm impressed. It's $800. I don't think it's a bad price when you come to think of it, compare it to everything else that is produced out there in quarter scale right now. I think it's a fair price. When you look at Jubilee, for example, from Sideshow being $1,000 or $1,000, then yeah, I think makes sense. I'm okay with Wolverine being an 800. And I am telling you, they did a really nice job. It has the classic blue, tiger stripe, suit, but it does have a little of that touch that normally, they've been doing with other statues, because of course this continued with the collection that already been producing. Of course, we got Beast, which looks amazing, has more modern take, but they decided to go with a more classic take with this, but still give him a little bit of the lines. The suit looks a little more modern. You can see it in the knee pads and all that. However, it is an impressive piece that comes with beautiful switch out parts. The swappable head is amazing. The swappable head is amazing. Look at the two kinds, the calmer, without the, the cow, and then the one with the cow more angry, ready to fight. You got swappable hands. You have the, the bone claws, or you got the adamantium claws. And then you have a base where you can actually put the extra parts together. That to me is the way you're supposed to display something. It comes with the parts that normally cost more money with, like Prime 1 Studio does. See, Prime 1 does it just for that little base. You're paying top dollar. They pricing you even higher than this. So overall, right now, of course, there's a lot of competition. You have Legendary Beast Studios. There's so many companies doing amazing Wolverine statues. Then you gotta compete for sure. You gotta keep in the game if you're gonna be doing quarter scale stuff. Modok Maze in the thumbnail. Oh, okay. So when you look at the things here, of course, this Wolverine looks really, really neat for sure, in my opinion. I love the portrait. I love the job. It's well detailed. It's different. It's unique, and it takes its own version on spin on the classic Wolverine. And that looks really neat to me, as you can see right there. Look at that one. The eyes, the paint job that they did, very, very nicely job. The detail and the strands of the hair, very nicely done. Definitely, this is a very impressive Wolverine. One of the most impressive Wolverines that they have I've seen in recent times. You know, of course, they're gonna be the comparisons, Legendary Beast Studios, the others from Sideshow. There's always gonna be comparisons, custom pieces, but I think this is up there. It's a beautiful piece that you can have and be more than well served. And I love what they did with the base. They has a little bit of that art, the greenery, the jungle. It's good. It's a good piece for sure, and very nicely detailed. It does really kind of give me a little bit of throwback for what I remember. What was that? The Eric Sosa 1/6 scale Kotobukiya statue that had that kind of like that vibe in a way. I love that statue for the longest, and this kind of gives me that vibe, but it's quarter scale. I love the detail. They did this, the detail there, some sort of jungle, some sort of, I don't know if the Savage Land or so, but that is neat. The knee passes, the boots are more modern, all of that, but still looks very neat. The detailed, what they did here, the concept as a whole is really, really well done. So yeah, I think $800, not a bad price at all for such a beautiful piece. So yeah, it's a great piece for sure that we are seeing here, and the stuff they continue to do. Now, if we could moving into the stuff here, keep kind of pushing that. Now going into let me go to the Star Wars universe. So Star Wars, of course, is doing amazing things for sure. Before we get into the Star Wars stuff, well, we're already in the Star Wars stuff. So let me see if there's anything that we have skipped for the past before we get into Obi-Wan. Again, I'm trying to come up and do everything that I haven't done in forever. So that is it's hard. But there we have one there that we're going to look at in a moment. Okay, good. All right, so we did talk about Ahsoka Tano. I think we did talk about Ahsoka Tano back in the day. There's a waitlist one. But this one, I don't remember having the opportunity to discuss Leia Organa and Wicket. I don't remember being able to talk about this one. I talk about the one that was produced by, unfortunately at the end it was not produced, but the one that was done by that was a Gentle Giant, and of course through Diamond Select Toys, that unfortunately did not see the light of day. But when we're looking at this one right here, look at this one rear. I like it. Nice detail. I like how they did the base. You had interchangeable head with the extra arm. So the hand without, just clean hand, nothing else. She's not holding anything. She's holding her hat. It's kind of cool. Although I think Wicked looks a little bit too small. But other than that, it's a nice depiction. It's kind of neat that they're doing this. Of course, the moment that Gentle Giant went out the window, a lot of people are dissatisfied because there's less and less stuff, for Star Wars. They were doing a lot of Star Wars. So having something, more in the affordable side is another option. However, being as a 110, a lot of people might be dissatisfied with that idea, that concept. Because a lot of people will prefer to have, go back to the 1.6 or the 1.7. But still, I think it's a nice piece. And Iron Studios, again, is doing really fantastic work, trying to rework the stuff they're doing really with the Star Wars, really doing more impressive things as they go. And I think they're accomplishing a lot with what they're implementing and their concepts that they're doing and what they're following. I think there's tremendous potential there. That Palpatine, we talked about it before, that battle between Yoda and Palpatine. But another one that was also is this an Anakin versus Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's another beautiful diorama, $455 in this particular battle on the last film of the, where technically Anakin becomes yeah, Wicked is too small. Might have been better in 1.6 too. Yeah, but they probably don't have that license. That probably is the case, but we'll see what happens. But regardless of that, I think they're doing amazing work in some cases. Some of the statues are great. But look at this one right here. I think this is a fantastic display. Beautiful. The concept of this particular battle, I think, is phenomenal. It reminds me of the same as they did with PCS when they did the bus that we talk about, the Darth Vader bus, and they have this battle between them also there with the little miniature diorama. Well, this is the same thing, but Arceus is doing it as a one thing on its own, a separate thing, and I think it's accomplishing something. The likeness is there. They look at this, very beautiful. Both of them are great. They look fantastic on the likeness. So 110, they really nail it with this one. It's a beautiful depiction. The whole scene is really well depicted of this tremendous battle that really defined in a way the Star Wars, at least the prequels. That was the climax of the prequels for sure. But very beautiful. I think it does have a light-up feature too, which makes it even more impressive. Or it appears to me that it has a light-up feature. It should. They really did a job with it. You know, that lava. Very cool. Let's see if it does have a light-up feature. I'm not sure if it does. But it should have. It doesn't say, but it looks like it does. So maybe it does, or maybe you're gonna have to put something there just to kind of make that the lava be more bright. But yeah, no. We'll see. Beautiful depiction for sure. But I think that the one that was released this week, of course, the one that was showcased on the inside, of course, is this right here. This too. Obi-Wan Kenobi, part of the signatures. You have the 1/6 scale. I think it's a great depiction of Obi-Wan. It reminds me a lot of the Mythos Sideshow statue 1/5, 1/6. It does have the extra portrait. Love it that they did the classic portrait, the original portrait. And it's just a really nice museum pose. Very well done, very well executed. A lot of, really homage also to the TV show. Looks really neat. And it's a 1/6, I'm telling you, looks perfect. Beautiful depiction of Obi-Wan. And for those who are fans of the ones, in this case for the 110, this is definitely it's a beautiful piece. However, and look at the detail. Great detail right there. Oh, I didn't notice until now in the cape, you see the markings of, previous characters and the battles. Look at that. You have Darth Vader right there, the mask. Is that, what I think it is? Darth Maul? May not be. But really showcases all that, the ghosts, I guess, of Obi-Wan, all the ghosts portrayed. So it's a very artistic take there. However, you can go for the quarter scale. Now, this is $1,000, which is more expensive. But yeah, this is for quarter scale fans. Is it better than other quarter scale that they have done? Honestly, not necessarily. So it's all fully sculpted. It's kind of nice that it has the extra portraits. I don't know necessarily a fan of the cape at that particular size. Yes, a nice concept. It's a 110. As a quarter scale, it's so artistic. Yeah, it could be. It may have its detractors. People may not like that concept. They may prefer to have just a regular cape. You didn't have to go to try to add detail like that. But other than that, I think it's still the portrait here. I think it's phenomenal. It's closest thing to the actor for sure. They did a really nice job in really encapsulating his likeness. Fully sculpted piece. I think paint wise a little darker, but definitely the 110 looks impressive. Very nice piece for sure. So the options are there. 110, I think 110 is more than enough. I like it. Quarter scale too big, but some people might go for it as well. Same pieces, they have the same thing. The only difference, of course, again, is the scale. So yeah, they're doing really nice job with it again. All right, so another piece that we missed, that we didn't cover, and I want to cover right now. Let's go to the Disney. So we continue with Star Wars, but now with Disney licenses, but now we're going straight to anything that's Disney. Winnie the Pooh, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Winnie the Pooh. And of course, this is based on the art, I think, of the book rather than the cartoon. But it's $600, which is always, the Disney licenses are always expensive. But when you look at this one, even the base is a book. And this is 100 years. So think about this character. It's a beautiful representation for those who are fans of this book, Winnie the Pooh, those who are fans of Disney licenses. It's amazing. I would say the answer is really nailing it in a lot of this. The only problem that I have with some of the stuff they're releasing with Disney is the price. I think the price is the thing that is kind of killing it. Last week we were talking about PCS doing the larger scale, 1/5 scale, but also keeping the price very affordable. And those look amazing as 1/5. Now, of course, you know, those are bigger. These are smaller. And if you are a big Disney fan, Disney has so many licenses, you will run out of space. So I would say this is great. Very nice concept. Very nicely done. And again, based on the book, children's book, it's just nice. Beautiful, beautiful depiction. Winnie the Pooh and the honey tree. Very nice detail. Very nicely done. It's going to showcase beautifully in any place. It's a great gift too for those fans of the character. My wife loves the character, so yeah, it's gonna be a nice thing to showcase. Now continue with the Disney stuff. Of course, here we have Elsa. For those who are fans, this is another statue, $500. This is a popular among girls for sure, little girls who love Frozen. So they're going to love it. If you have a daughter, it's an expensive gift, but they're a beautiful gift. If your wife loves Frozen, it's a beautiful depiction. Again, they're doing really nice work with all this Disney licenses. Nice detail. I like the stairs, the icy effect, all of that. Very, very well done. And keep moving into Disney realm right there. Look at this one. Cusco and Itzma Deluxe. This is another, of course, beautiful also. And this, the Emperor's New Groove. If you, and the movie's okay, I remember it. But again, they're doing really neat with the, you know, has the llama. So it has a lot of different details. And it's impressive, again, you know, what they're doing with the stuff. This is one thing I would say about Iron Studios, which I admire about the company. They definitely have a lot of room. They can flex a lot. They do flex a lot. They have, I don't know how many artists they have. They should have armies of artists because they have multiple licenses at this point. It's amazing how this company in its humble beginnings started just with Marvel, and they expanded and expanded, and it continues to grow and grow and grow. And it's becoming such a thing that we get to. So, so it's amazing that they're doing the stuff they're doing, and the expansion and the growth and the things that they're constantly doing. So I don't know, it's just impressive to me, the range they have in the artistry. Continue to be impressive. So very beautiful thing here they did. You know, it's not for everyone. It's for the Disney fans, and there's plenty out there who love Disney, who love what they do. You can also get Cusco just by itself. Although I like the whole diorama, I think this is the better concept there. If you are looking for that, there's so many things. Oh, we missed Silver Surfer right there also. That's okay, we can skip it. Chewbacca on Talca also part of, we missed it. You know, we're missing some stuff here because it's hard to look at everything and not just to keep up with everything. But looking at more of the Disney stuff, of course, we received the oh, right there, look at this one. You got Cinderella. You got two different versions, the regular, or you have the $1,000 for this one. Again, 110. So sometimes 1.6 can be expensive, but this is definitely for a Cinderella fan. Look at this, it's super large, big diorama. I don't think it's worth $1,000. I think it's more like 500 at this. Yes, it has a lot of detail. Yes, it's going to be impressive. It's a beautiful piece to look at. Look at the detail inside. Beautiful beautiful base too. Everything is beautiful about this piece. But $1,000, I don't think it's worth that much money. I'm sorry, but I don't think so. However, if you don't have that much money, and it's already on the wait list though, you have the collector's edition. Also on the wait list. Look at that. Still beautiful. And as we know, Popular is, you know, sold out now. We're on the wait list until it's released, and maybe they'll get a few more extra ones. But yeah, just for reference, now we know what they were trying to do with this piece. Expensive for sure. So yeah, we got that. Now if we keep moving, let me go into this piece is right there, Jurassic. Let's go into Jurassic Park. Why not? Let's just do Jurassic Park. Look at this T-Rex river attack from the most recent film. I like the film. I enjoyed it. It's fun. It's not the best, of course, but nice diorama here. Nice detail for it. You know, continue to grow. Of course, at this point, we have seen so many of these statues produced by Prime One Studio, which, by the way, look phenomenal. Great detail, but I think in the 110 range, on the 120th range or whatever, I think we're looking at Iron Studios really bringing the scales. You know, this is 120, $600. Impressive diorama for sure. But also we can look at this one right here. The Welcome to Jurassic Park Special Edition also looks great. $1,000 for this one. The one that is coming from Prime One Studio is going to, I think, surpass this one for sure, big time. But still, the little detail with the diorama, it's just phenomenal. These are museum pieces for sure. Look at them. The likeness with the actors, okay, with the, you know, the actress and the gentleman, older guy, it's I think it's better, but it is an impressive piece, very nicely detailed, beautiful, very nice concept. $600, well, $1,000 for this one. Keep in mind that the scale, the dimensions of this piece, and then you have this one right here, the Spinosaurus, which is $255 for this one. I like the base, simple. And another thing is that you can represent the water too. I think you can add that to the top to create that effect, or you can remove it, which I think is a great idea. It depends on how you want to display it. Like for example, right here, just display clean. That's perfect like that. Or you want to add that if you want to create that effect. I think I like it clean. I think the clean is the way to go. So I get Jurassic Park really doing really neat. And the stuff they're showcasing there. Look, I miss Ursula right there. The Deluxe, that's on the wait list already. So yeah, again, you know, it's impressive what they're showcasing here. Let me see if there's anything else for Jurassic Park on the first page. All right, there we have this one. You got the raptors at the kitchen door. I saw today, I was going through. Love my Iron Studios Prince Adam. My amazing wife got me. Oh, cool. Yeah, that was a nice gift. Your wife was thinking, really gave you something really nice. I saw today, I was going through Facebook, and I saw that Iron Studios is going to do some changes to some pieces. Some of the pieces that they announced that they're going to make some adjustments was one of this one and the portraits. So they're going to do some adjustments. So that's good that they're actually listening. Something that I would say Iron Studios have really done much in the past. Maybe they did in Brazil, but not outside of Brazil, where I feel that they were listening to the fans and doing updates to certain pieces. It seems that they're doing it now, which is surprising. They did it for a few pieces. So I think that is the way to go. I think Iron Studios is doing so many things right as a company. They're doing a lot of things right. And I think that this year has the potential to be a phenomenal year for Iron Studios. maybe to be the best company. And when I talk about the best company, is because not the impression of One Piece being the best. I think as a company as a whole, what they're doing, they have the potential to surpass other companies by doing what they're doing. They keep doing what they're doing and being consistent with it. So yeah, this is another one. Very nice detail of that scene of Jurassic Park. Doors open. Nice base. And nice detail. Definitely very nice diorama. Very nice concept. I love what they did with the base and the logo. Very cool. This is $500, so it's not cheap at all, but definitely there's a fan base out there willing to pay the price. Now, moving into other things Disney, but mostly licenses that are owned by Disney. Let's look at, for example, we have these pieces. Of course, we just saw Avatar, the most recent film, which I was not impressed, by the way. I did mention that on my previous video. I was not impressed with it. But look at Varang. This character here. It is a nice statue. As a 110, it's pretty tall because, of course, of the scale of this character. It's 14.7 inches tall. Very nicely done. Very simple. Very nice museum pose statue, really. It has a very nice detail. Very well done. Very nicely painted. The base is simple but well done. Accurate. And the paint job is excellent. Those eyes are excellent. I think another thing that I've seen with Iron Spirits is they're improving in the quality of their eyes. I don't know what they're doing with them. If not, they're painting them that way, or they're adding something else to make it look like that, like some type of fake eyes or so. But they're definitely looking really nice and neat. So, Varang looking great. But also, look at this Miles Quaritch. Which, one of my disappointments with the film, I felt this film is like, I felt that there was so much that we could have done with him in this film in comparison to what they did with the second one. But very impressive, very nice. Both pieces together, I think they're going to shine. The detail there is good. Of course, this character kind of changed. A lot of this, you know, you can see some changes in the way what he's doing in the film. I don't even watch it, so I'm not gonna give you spoilers. But if you haven't, you know, you watch it. Very, very cool detail. They both look impressive. I think you kind of have to have both because they're technically, you know, companion pieces. So yeah, that is very, very cool. Now, skipping into more monster territory. Look at this one right here. It's Steven Spielberg. We're celebrating the 15th anniversary of Jaws. And this is a very unique depiction of it, of this. You know, we have seen statues of the, you know, of course, of the shark or the boat or some of the other characters in the film, but we had never seen a Steven Spielberg statue per se. And of course, during the 15th anniversary, also in this case, all the robotronic or the creature they created, the whole thing they created, the apparatus of that is super neat that they decided to do it. And this is a very young Steven Spielberg. That is, in my opinion, that is a very nice way to depict something and also pay homage tribute to Spielberg and his genius on this. Look at this. That is different and that is very, very unique. Very young. Man, it's perfect. They did a really nice job with this. This is something completely out of the ordinary, but it's so good that they come up with something like this. They did something like this. Like it. This is very, I'm sure that people are going to love it just because of what it is and what it represents. That to me is very unique. And again, this is what I was mentioning about Art Studios. The range they have, the ability to produce things that are different. They're doing more than just the basics. They're doing a lot of different things and coming up with bright ideas. Some ideas are just come out of the left field. Some of them don't gel well, don't work that well, but the ones that do, they do it impressively. And that is, to me, that is a testament of what they do as a company. Now look at this one, Dek and Thea. Another, of course, from the Predator. This is another one that looks really, really cool. Of course, we talked about what was that? The Hot Toys last week. Beautiful piece. The figures, but if you don't care about figures, but you like a statue, this is some good one. It comes with the extra portrait. Very nice to represent. Very cool. Although I would say that would love for them to kind of angle the base in a way so you can actually see Tia, not just to see Tia in the back, but to see both side by side. That would have done something more amazing, because most of it, I think that Dick is the one that gets the most. I never saw the creature until now. That's cool that he's there too on the display. It's not bad. Actually, you can see it from this angle. Although it would be nice to add this a little more to the side, or this to the front, the plants, the greenery there. I don't know. I think something could be nice on the side. There's a lot of detail in the base, but it's kind of lost when you have to move it. Another way to work around it would be to have a Lazy Susan that is moving a rotating base. That would be also awesome. The base looks neat too. I like the base. And the portrait, it's not 100%, but that's cool. That is pretty cool. And what else Iron Studios has to offer right here? Let's see. We already covered that. We're coming back to some of these things here. Oh, look at this. Well, with this is Quetzalcoatlus. This is part of the Jurassic Park stuff. Look at this one, the Jungle Hunter. Beautiful. If you cannot afford the Prime 1 Studio Jungle Hunter, this can be. Although I would say there's something off about his physique. I think his torso seems to be a bit small. At least his, I don't know, like he looks a bit tiny. But other than that, very nice piece. And definitely, I think they took a lot of inspiration from the Prime 1 Studio one. It's like a mini version of that. Although, like, why do I say that? Because of the way they did the base with the water and all that. It's definitely a smaller rendition of it. Although the Prime 1 Studio, that's the way to go. But this one, that's the interchangeable, like the switch out portrait, which is neat. And also, you know, the hands are different. You can add that the skull to his hand, so that's a switch out part. Very cool. That's a 110, $305. See you into it. Now let's see other things here. Of course, Alien, the big chap. Again, that also, that one is actually nicely done. It has the alternate head with the open mouth, I think, and the closed one. Although, to be honest, this is the one that you're gonna use anyway, so they couldn't just keep, you know, you didn't have to have the closed mouth because this is the one you're gonna use anyway. That is very neat. And what else do we have to see here? Man, this happens when you miss so much time not really talking about certain things, and you gotta make up for time. Then you definitely gotta go crazy going through a lot of different things here. Look at this I want to talk about. Frankenstein's monster. Of course, this you know, Del Toro's film that I haven't really watched, to be honest. And a lot of people talk about it and I haven't even watched. And I'm a big fan of Del Toro, but I haven't really found the time. $255. That is an impressive piece for sure. I seen, of course, the videos, the excerpts, and everything, and definitely that looks the part. Very nicely detailed. I will have to find the time to watch this film. Maybe I'll do it this weekend or so, because I've been thinking about it. I was actually watching some interviews with Del Toro this week. They were actually recommended in my feed, so I was going watching them. You know, I always like his stuff, but you know, some days, you know, I don't have time to watch a lot of stuff. But yeah, that is cool. $255 for sure. Very nice, very neat. So let me see what else before. Let me show you actually this. Of course, we have this variants of the TMNT, which we already have them before, the color versions, which I think are the better versions, but now they have this gray, black, and, you know, kind of a homage to the comic book. Although it has the color bandanas, if you go for the black and gray, you miss on the originals, and this can be another option. More on the comic book, you know. So that's Leonardo. You got Raphael. They've been selling well, $215. They have low stock. Very cool. The detail, and again, the only thing definitely color. Although just because it's black and white doesn't, or gray, doesn't mean that there's no color or there's no wash. Of course, the color ones are the ones that are more, in my opinion, were the better ones because all the differences of color and the things, the greens and all that stuff. But if you're only one something like this, and if you're actually is your cup of tea, why not? It might be impressive in the bases. Donatello looking great. And then we have Michelangelo. Actually, I like sometimes I would say the color kind of jumps at you, the color of bandanas, you know, because of everything is so gray. It's a nice contrast. It does give nice contrast, and you're able to see their eyes and their expression, and actually it makes their bodies shine even more. Which is great. So that is very neat that they did this one for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's a variance. They're almost gone, so if you're interested on them, jump on them before they're sell out. And now, if we are continue moving here, let me show you also. Let's go and look at some of the Transformer stuff. Of course, we have Bumblebee. Which is great. This is a Transformers. Very nice detail. Although I would say, in my opinion, the head looks a little too long. His neck, which makes it look really, really tall. And he's pretty slim for sure. I wish it was a little, smaller, maybe more stockier. It doesn't look as stockier to me. But yeah, that yeah, just the I don't know, they made him too elongated for some reason. And he's always been a short fella. They're trying to make it look a little bit taller. So I'm not impressed by that neck. I like the pose, and I like what they're trying to accomplish there. But maybe they need to do some work on that. Of course, still, I guess, pending approval. But yeah, that's still one that requires a little bit of work, in my opinion. If I was them, I definitely would be doing a rework on it. But here, we have also Megatron, which $405. Megatron looks impressive. Although it would be nicer if Megatron was pointing his gun at you, because I think that's the classic idea of Megatron, always pointing his gun at you. But other than that, the work they did with the sculpt is nice. Paint job is nice. It's just that idea. I feel like, of course, in this one, the scene looks more like he just used the gun in a battle. But yeah, I think that just pointing the gun at you would have been so impressive. But then, of course, we have this one right here. Optimus Prime. Which, in this case, as you can see, he's pointing the gun at you. So that's something they have done with Megatron. I think so far, this is the one that looks the most impressive. I like it. Why? And just kind of let me give you an idea. I'll be right back in just a moment. Let me give you an idea. All right, I needed to get up too. That's why. Just to give you an idea. Okay, I have the PCS 110, which is a line that unfortunately was canceled in the end. But I always loved this. By PCS, premium collectibles now. But this is a beautiful. I reviewed this already, but this statue is very nice. Not that big of a statue, and it does have interchangeable this. We can only have the gun and can have this part. But what I think I like about Transformer statues is when you get to see this, when the character is pointing the gun at you. That is the best way. So they had done with the same with Megatron. It looks great with the cell shading on this one. This is a resin statue. Beautiful, by the way. I like it. One of my statues. Not that big. Doesn't really rub anything. But just looking at it just kind of gives you the idea of the scale per se. So okay, I think I did something. I was about to kind of turn something off right here, so my apologies. It was about to do something weird. In any case, just for reference. So I think that's the right idea. I like it that I like that what they did Iron Studios instead of this one, because they're using the gun in one and then using the axe on the other. That to me is the right idea. Because now you technically you don't even need to switch out parts. You already have both things that you care about there. And that to me it's really impressive. It's a very nicely done. So I think that in this case they did a better job with the Optimus. Of course, this is a more modern take up Optimus. The one from PCS is a classic Optimus from the cartoon. But it's just good and impressive. They added, on the base of flames, not needed in my opinion. Just an idea of a battle. The axe is longer, so definitely this is a more like a modern take of the character. I don't even think it looks great, by the way. It doesn't look bad at all. But yeah, I think that's Megatron is the one that perhaps could have been done better. But other things we can see right here now, looking into more Hasbro stuff. Look at this one right here. Destro. This Destro looks really neat, man. Look at Destro. Very nice touch. Destro, the money man for sure, carrying his money, his weapon. Very nicely. The guy is gangsta for sure, and you can see it. And the weapon, very nice detail. Loads of cash. A weapons dealer for sure. So that's what he's doing. That's his thing. So Destro looks really neat. Another thing, of course, if you have Destro as a companion, you have to have, let's see, we see it here. We passed it. Right there, the Baroness, which I think is a fantastic depiction of the Baroness for sure. And right next to Destro, you have to have it. She looks great. Very nice piece. Very nice detail there. That's a Cobra right there. But very nicely done. Very nice depiction. Femme fatale for sure. And Destro and her together, that's how you want to display them. So very nicely done for sure. Beautiful face, beautiful portrait. Very nice detail with the character here with the Baroness. Now, lowing down, man, I had so many statues that I missed. Look at this Chernobog. This is sort of the Fantasia. This is from the Disney line. Ares from the film, the most recent what was that? Also part of Disney, but what was that? Tron film, which honestly, I watch it, fun for what it was, but definitely not the same level of previous film. It was not. It was a disappointment, to be honest with you. I was expecting more because of the trailers that we saw before. I was expecting to blow my mind. It didn't do it, and then went with a museum pose for this, which, to be honest with you, that is the worst way to do it. There were so many other poses they could have done to represent this, and they went for this one, which looks very simplistic. So honestly, this is a disappointment for me. $205 doesn't break the bank, but I don't think it's going to be as popular as others. And I'm trying to make sure, yeah, that the video is still playing well. But some days this thing doesn't work so good. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you there with them. Let's see what else. Look at this other thing here, like Ajani Goldmane. If you are, of course, into the Magic the Gathering, this is a new line also that they start going, and they're gonna start exploring. They started strong with this character. Very impressive piece, museum pose, but very well done. To be honest with you, this is a perfect ratio of base and character in a pose. This is a beautiful rendition. Very nicely done. Love the detail in his body, in his mane, everything. It's a beautiful piece. And I'm not really a Magic the Gathering guy, but I'm telling you, this is a very nicely done piece. Beautiful to look at for sure. It will be impressive in your display. If you're a Magic the Gathering fan, if you're love it, you know, then definitely this is going to be something that is going to speak to you. Very cool. But talking about stuff like that, you know, like more of that, the type of same stories. Another piece that I want to show you here. That we just saw in a moment is here, Gimli the Unleashed. We haven't really seen that many statues of the... It seemed like they kind of slowed down a bit with the Lord of the Rings, but they got Gimli, and to be honest, not bad. Nice detail. They have done really fantastic with this collection, although I would say the base is fine because he's a short guy, so you definitely want to have a little high, you know, put it a little higher. So it's not bad. The only thing I would say, maybe the portrait, the eyes or so, but you know, with the beard looks fine. So yeah, $255, which I think is a little steep for it. It should be cheaper than that. But that is an idea here. Also, of course, we saw, and this is something that I did not mention when we were talking about it, but in a moment. But look at this statue here. I want to talk about, of course, the Gargoyle stuff. The Gargoyles doing really strongly now, of course, with PCS and stuff. And this is on the waitlist already. Goliath, of course, it will be the first one. Very nicely impressive Goliath. Nice base. It reminds me the colors too to the video game. He's actually, what I like about it is that he's transforming. You can see half stone, half, you know, gargoyle. Like, you know, he is a gargoyle, but I'm saying half flesh, half stone. So it's in a moment of transformation. So that is a really nice idea, concept that they apply. They didn't have to be honest. They couldn't just simply go without, but definitely this is an idea to really kind of represent his power and, you know, what he does. But besides this guy, of course, we have seen Demona, which I think is an impressive piece. Also the same effect, transforming, half rock, half stone, half flesh. Beautiful depiction of her. She's standing with, you know, as she's always does, you know, with grandiose allure, unafraid, unapologetic. So that is very, very cool, very neat, to be honest. And another piece that I want to kind of look into right there. For this, of course, Hudson, which looks impressive for sure. Look at Hudson. I like the choice that they made with him here. And again, doing the same thing, half stone. Very cool depiction of Hudson for sure. Although I would say the base seems to be a little large, but it's fine. A little taller. Still a very impressive piece. So not bad at all. Not bad at all as a 110. And another thing that I want to show you, of course, you know, we're covering as much ground as I can. It's becoming a little hard. Of course, you know, one thing that I want to show you, talking about these characters. Let me go right here. Let me show you Neo. I have Neo. If you're a big fan, as I am a big fan, of course, of the Matrix. Very nice statue 110 depiction of Neo. Very cool. Something that I definitely would love to have to see again, Neo from, you know, in this case from Hot Toys, a new rendition, new version. But very nice statue, very nice detail. They really did it really nice here. Very cool. And Trinity is going to be the companion, as you can see right there. Both together are going to do a very nice detail. $225 for this piece. But if you're looking for, again, the companion, then here we have Trinity. And they're looking impressive for sure. $225. I think she looks fantastic there. They're both together going to combine so nicely like that in a display. This is one definitely a 110 pieces together in a display. They're gonna play so well together. Very nicely done. Very nicely done for sure. Matter of fact, I'm telling you, after I leave this, maybe tonight I'm watch this. I don't know. Now I'm feeling like I'm in the mood for watching a movie. So I don't know. I have to decide which one. Probably this one. Any case, keep moving. Of course, you got, if you like the El Chapulín Colorado. I grew up with that as a kid. Very famous in Latin America. They have stuff for that. We're gonna skip it for now. But what are the things I want to point out? Of course, you know, I want to point out Mileena right there. Mileena. This is a new one that came out, $195. Continue to grow the Mortal Kombat line. It has the extra head. Mileena comes with the extra head without, you know, very scary looking one. It goes from this hot chick to this. But look at the base, man. Even the base. Look at the tree in the back. Definitely a homage to the Mortal Kombat 2. Because that was the scenario where she used, you know, where you were fighting them. So, this is, of course, part of the Mortal Kombat classic, as they call it. Beautiful detail. Beautiful. Even the grotesque face. Still beautiful sculpt. And the paint job is clean. Again, the base looks great. The detail there. The Mortal Kombat has been very impressive for sure as a collection, and they continue to deliver on it. No doubt about it. They continue to deliver on the impressiveness. Beautiful piece. But that is not the only one they have released for Mortal Kombat fans. Recently, also they did this one right here, the Johnny Cage. Which actually is a nice depiction of Johnny Cage. Actually, it's very, you know, unique, different. The portrait there, not bad. Very muscular too. It's on Cage Fury. It's a nice depiction. Of course, he's signing autographs. You know, that's Johnny Cage for sure. So they're going for the museum pose. Very nicely detailed. Oh, he's doing that. His signature. Very nicely done. Very nice job. It seems simple, but man, when you look at the details, even on in his clothing, definitely they did a nice job. The painters did a nice job in this piece. Look at the detail. Very nice, the presentation of Johnny Cage. You know, being the guy he is, you know, always throwing around and acting up like he is the biggest thing ever. But yeah, you know the character, you know it very, very well. So that is very, very cool. Let me see on page 2 if there's anything that I skipped there. It's almost coming closer to the end of Iron Studios. Look at this one, Mickey Walsh from the Goonies. Another line that they're really going for. So you're a Goonies fan, they're going for it. Now the likeness with the actor, sort of there, but the detail is there. It's impressive what they do. And again, Iron Studios is always coming up with some ideas and doing things that are different. Not being afraid to experiment with those licenses and see. You know, I think that there's a market for everything, and they understand that. And I think that's what they're really good at it. Also, you got the Gremlins right here, another line that has been expanding. As you can see, this is a beautiful diorama, by the way. Look at the Gremlins. Look at Gizmo right there too. They're partying on him, and Gizmo is scared and afraid for his life. But that is a nice diorama for sure. Very unique. Very nicely done. Anything that before this, of course, I've seen, of course, the figures from NECA, but this is a nice diorama. Very cool. $405. You're a big fan of the Gremlins. I remember as a kid watching the Gremlins. Enjoy that film. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Look at this Zorro. For those fans, of course, One Piece. Of course, but this is based on the film of the Netflix series or whatever. It's alright. I'd rather have the actual Zorro from the anime or even the manga. But if you want something like that, why not? Go for it. And look at this, Taro Sakamoto. This is from, I don't remember what this anime, Sakamoto Days. Cool concept. 2 pieces that actually combine. I think you might be able to separate him, or they're all side by side that way. They seem to be side by side. But my question would be, like, if you can put them separate, like instead of, back to back. That I don't know. And the collector's edition has, him just like that. Cool though. So either choice, if you're into it, go for it. Now looking at some other things based on, anime or comics or whatever. Look at this one right here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Also another thing that was impressive. Still a pre-release. And still one of my, of course, the original cover of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But this one painted. I do have an art print actually signed by Eastman of this particular cover. But here, of course, this is a beautiful diorama, to be honest with you. Since the moment I saw it, I was impressed with it because, of course, he pays homage to the original, the thing that started it all. Looking really, really neat. And this is one that I've been thinking perhaps to add to the collection, just because I like this particular diorama. It's definitely very neat. I think price is very good. Yeah, it's a large diorama. I wish it was cheaper, but that's not the reality we live in. And look at this, Eddie. This is already on the wait list. The 50th anniversary of Eddie. Iron Maiden. Look at this guy. Incredible. The extra head. The base. Honestly, Iron Studios continues to do impressive stuff for sure. Man, it's late. I've been sitting there talking about Iron Studios nonstop for like 2 hours and a half almost. I need a break for sure, but I want to finish Iron Studios. And then, of course, we still got a few other things to talk about, and I want to cover them in a moment. It's going to be a lengthy night, it seems to me, trying to catch up. Looking at all these things, it's just, you know, I can just hear, again, hour after hour. It's just impressive work. Everything that we see in here. I think we already did pretty good. We're going to actually come to DC stuff in just a moment, just to finish it. But I want to see before I go there if I'm missing anything from any franchise that I want to cover. I think we cover everything we can think of, so we're in good terrain. So let's start with DC. This is the last stretch right now, and then we move on. I will take a break, and then after that, of course, I will come back and talk about other things. But in any case, looking at this from all the DC stuff here, of course, we got Superman and Crypto. This is one that I'm telling you, the Superman portrait, not a fan. That Superman doesn't look anything, in my opinion. That's the Brazilian version of the actor. Crypto is fine. You cannot really go wrong with a dog. But the portrait, it needs some work. From some angles, it looks fine. But up close, I feel that that's when I miss it. I don't know. Look at this. It's just like it doesn't look at from there. It's like doesn't look like anything like the actor. So that needs some work. The concept idea of him kind of standing right there, not bad. It's already on the wait list though. So I guess people expect hope that, you know, it'll be improved. Hopefully. But yeah, not a fan of that particular one. Now, continue with DC stuff here, of course. Maybe I don't want to skip anything of DC. Look at the Flash. This is actually, I'll come back. This is a quarter scale Flash. So we're going to go back when we do the quarter scale stuff. But, well, right now, in just a moment, we're going to come back to it. So I'm looking at 110 first. Right there. I want to go to Nightwing. I think this is a great Nightwing. It does remind me of some of the white Prime 1 stuff. Prime 1 Nightwing. Also, of course, Eric Sosa's Nightwing that he did with his company. That Prototype C. That kid that you could put together, which I love very much. But here it's Nightwing. Looks great. The base may be too big, but kind of plays with the part. I do like the figure. I do like the pose with Nightwing. It looks very, very well done. I like how he's standing there. It looks fantastic. The base tells a story. Pretty much everything you can think of the rogues. The rogue gallery. Everything from Gotham, if you can. So it's kind of cool. All the rogues are there represented in one way or another. But Nightwing looks really neat. Yes, the ratio is another thing with the base is too big or too tall. Other than that, Nightwing looks impressive there for sure. Beautiful piece, $205. I think it's a great price. Again, as we mentioned earlier, Iron Studios is definitely, it has, you know, variety. And prices sometimes can go crazy, but sometimes can be also fair. And here you have Lex Luthor Unleash. $355. Very impressive, of course, with his suit and carrying the, of course, the cape, Superman cape, and the kryptonite in his hand, and that base with the detail. So that makes sense. So I would say, yeah, the price is not bad. They could have used, like they have done with other things at almost around the same size and scale. They will just go for $500, $400. I think what they did is it's fair for what it is. Interesting concept. I like that he's holding the kryptonite. Very unique. A little too serious, perhaps. That's fine. Nice job there with this piece. Now, this is another one. The Batman Absolute, which is 110. This is one of those that were listed that they're going to do improvements to the portrait. because people complain of the portrait and the size and scale with the body. So that's going to be arranged. They're going to work on it. But in any case, the concept is interesting. But yeah, the portrait, they were saying that was too small in comparison with the body. Again, they're going to make the changes. They announced that on Facebook. If you go to Facebook, if you come to Facebook, you'll see it right there. Where they're talking about a status update. They're doing the updates, of course, of the velociraptors on the mouth. They're doing that to be more screen accurate, they were saying. And also here, right here, they about the statue update, they're going to change. They're going to refine some of the things. Because we announced already inside the change of Batman Absolute Hit, so it's going to change. It's going to be more refined. Those who made the pre-order from the beginning will also receive the piece with the update. So they're doing updates to the piece, as they mentioned. They are refining some of the details there. It appears how that's going to play out on the end, I don't know. But they you know, people are complaining about that. So cool. Nice detail, nice paint job. Very nice detail, actually. I'm not really a fan of this Batman, but actually I can give credit with credit's due, and I think that they did a really nice job representing it, really following the art. But yeah, changes need to be made, particularly in that portrait. Now, the last DC, well, we have another DC, which is this one right here, this Superman Absolute. And this Superman, of course, a more modern take of Superman, looks great. You know, yes, I'm a sucker, and I'm always going to love the classic Superman. But this one is very, very neat. Very cool concept, very cool suit. Everything is cool. Very nice pose. Beautiful, basic. The ratio with the base is perfect. Everything is perfectly set up. And the piece looks really neat. The detail on that, the physique of this character, young Superman, very, very cool. Very nicely done. Nice cape. Honestly, you don't need nothing else. And very, very nice job for sure. But the last piece, before I take my break, I want to talk about DC. The last piece I want to cover on the DC stuff that we just saw recently, I want to talk about that Flash. And before I let me see review, we cover almost everything you can think of. So kudos to that. Man, there was too much to talk about. We covered for a while. But this Flash quarter scale statue, again, $800. Very interesting concept. Fully sculpted piece. Very nicely done. Reminds me of Mark Waid's Flash. It's cool. Nice detail. I still love the one that I have, of course, from Twitterhead right here. I love that one. It's a beautiful pose by Guillermo Barbiero. But yeah, this is nice. That is a 1/5 scale. This is gonna be a 1/6. Nice detail, of course. The transformation, I didn't see that. You know, the laugh, how he became the Flash. It's starting to tell a story, which it's okay. Honestly, it doesn't need all that, but beautiful concept. More on the darker red. Quarter scale, $800. It's fair, although I would say that I would, you know, it's not really that much to it. There's not really that. It's not switch out parts like we saw with Wolverine. Has switch out parts and all that. This one doesn't have it. Honestly, I don't know why it's being priced at $800. It should be more than 6, 5, 6. If it doesn't have that many switch outs, then you don't need more than that. But you know, this is the times we're living in. In any case, what can I say? That's how things are rolling right now. But I want to say again, friends, thank you very much. So far, those who are watching, thank you. It's already late, man. I didn't expect to be this late. I thought it would be easy. But again, you know, I haven't really done much with Iron Studios. So of course, you know, it's needed. Time was needed to get it all done. In any case, let me take a break. We're still gonna come back and finish the night. But now on the way back, I will talk about Tsume, Zodiakos Studio, and then we'll cover whatever Priman is doing this week, and then PCS. We'll talk about the Wolverine bust that we have in the thumbnail. We're gonna talk about that Wolverine. So just give me a few minutes while I rest and I drink something, grab something to eat, go to the restroom, and then of course I'll be back. So see you in a moment.
just wish he knew. Just wish he knew.
All right, we're back. We're back. Thank you for those who gave me the opportunity to step back. I needed to use the restroom and I need to grab something to eat quick. I was kind of starving, needed some extra energy. But those who are watching right now, if anyone is watching, I know it's been a lengthy night, but I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for sticking with me tonight, those who are doing it. Even if you don't watch it now, of course, the future, you can always watch it in the future. Appreciate the support. Now, continue with my list tonight. Let's see. We spent a hefty amount of time with Iron Studios, but we continue on. I want to take you to Tsume Art. Let me. But everyone, thank you very much for those who are taking time with me. So I'm coming here to Tsume Art. Tsume Art, of course, is a company. They continue to be extremely impressive, and they have a lot of different things they've been doing lately. They've been doing this. I don't know. They're doing this small figurines where they're starting to do it of all the different characters. They have it on pre-order, so they have of all the different licenses that they have, and like you have Duke Fleet right there, Kabuto Koji, Momo, Naruto, Sasuke right there, Uchiha. So they have those Korum. So these are like kind of like figurines in a way. Not expensive at all. I don't even know if they're made out of PVC. This is cutting actor ship an outfit ready to unleash his signature attack. The Rasengan distance reflects the strength of the character that defines the ninja or Konoha in every battle. So there's a lighted display figure set. So it comes with an LED. You can display it like that. Very cool. And you know, this is a great idea. So if you are in Europe, in Belgium, France, Germany, Luxembourg, it's going to be free shipping from 2 Neon orders. So you order 2 of this, you get free shipping. This is a very, very cool concept. Furthermore, you can add, as you can see, more to your collection, make it grow. And if you know, you don't really have to break the bank with all the figures that they're coming up with this. So it's a very neat concept. I think they're just PVC, but these are the ones they have for pre-order right now. And let's see if there's trying to remember, how is it they call this? Neon. So I don't see here. Maybe we can see some stuff here. Those are figures. So that's what they have released so far. But if you look at the picture, it appears that they're gonna have more coming up. Because look at what they have. They have also a Spy of course family and some other that they will announce. So that is kind of cool that they're doing that. So yeah, I would say, just if you are interested on this, definitely it's a very nice alternative. Let me close this thing. Trying to get back to this. Having a hard time with this thing. Any case, whatever. But the things that I want to to mention right now, the stuff that it's on my attention right now, there are couple things. There's different things on pre-order. I'm not gonna cover everything that they have released. There's a few things that caught my attention, particularly when you're looking at the Kage line, which is the 16K line, but also they have the new MUB line, or MUB. I don't know what really stands on in French, but it's technically their their bus line, and they have this. For example, if you know this Ulysses 31, this classic 1980s Japanese French collaboration anime, which is kind of retelling of the story of Ulysses, the Greek mythology and his confrontations against the gods. So they come up with this anime, or this series, which technically is a modern take of that in space, of course. Ulysses 31 that's the show. So they have on pre-order this figure, this statue, which is a Kage statue, 1/6 scale, to go alongside the Ulysses 31. It's a pretty cool concept. The Kage line it has a lot of different things, in my opinion, that are really interesting. Honestly, let me go. Oh, I'm talking about some quesadilla or something. Any case, it's a very cool concept and ideas. And when you look at the pictures, let me see if we can look at them. You can go to Spec Fiction. They have them there too. So it's a beautiful concept. Again, you know, Tsume really specializes in this, in anything that's to do with anime. And classic anime, classic manga, that's what they specializes. And the Ikage line has been interesting, to say the least. Always a semi-action pose, and at this scale base. They technically, what I like about it is that they whole concept is always implied within the same base. They use the same slab, and on top of the slab they create the art of it, and which I think that is the consciousness about space limitations. So they try to utilize that space as much as they can to bring you something as special as this. So this Ulysses look great, and it's a very, very neat piece for sure. And there's like 42 photos here from different angles. I think some of them are always repetition. So they have this one. Price wise, you can always go to Spec Fiction. Let me see. I'm going to do Tsume right here. Let me see if we can do new to old. So they don't really have Ulysses here. I don't know if it's just because it's a licensing, maybe only available. Some of these pieces we have discussed over time, for a while. As you can see, some of the stuff they have. So they don't have it there. So it's something that I guess it's only going to be available in France. And as you can see, 400 pieces, scale 1/6. Price, not sure how much is going to be. I haven't really kept up with the exchange, but yeah, right there is $415. So I would say it's around 500 and so US dollars or so. How much is the euro right now? I don't know. I think still higher, more expensive than American dollar. So yeah, it's gonna be around that. But it seems that it might be only exclusive to France. But in any case, or Europe. And here, of course, you also have the bus, which is life-size bus. This is $1,665, so it's way more expensive. It's gonna be around the same, around $1,700 or so. The edition is only 300 pieces, but this is the bus, which is tremendously big and huge. If you come to the website, you'll be able to see it. And of course, there's videos, concepts. This is definitely not something that a lot of people will love, but there are fans out there in Europe, in France, which actually are big fans of this anime. And look at that. Huge bus. And definitely very cartoony, because that's technically what the concept is. Some people may like that. I still think this is priced pretty heavy. I think it's very expensive. And it's going to be very niche. Not everyone is going to really like this. But those who kind of grew up with that, with this show, I think the show was not long. It was probably like 25, 26 episodes. I haven't never really watched it in its entirety. I watched a few episodes, but I never really watched it entirely. Although I'm a big fan of Greek mythology, so I might give it a chance one day. So, you never know. So I'm looking at this. That is really cool. So yeah, this is something to think about. But when you're looking at technically what I wanted to really point out today is this Cobra with Dominique. Of course, if you are a fan of Cobra, for those who are unfamiliar with Cobra, let me give you just a little bit of an idea. This is a classic movie, the Space Adventure Cobra. This is the movie in 4K. Beautiful, by the way, the rendition of this, the translation to the movie, the remaster of it. It's a fantastic, and you can see there, beautiful. The movie, it's amazing. And of course, you also can watch the TV series, because technically this came out almost at the same time. The TV series and that, they both did retell the story. This is tells the story of the first saga in a movie, while this one is a totally different thing, but it's still the same stories and kind of follows the same, mostly closely to the manga, but also beautiful. This is all in Japanese, but beautiful. This is Cobra. I love it. You know, it's just classic. Any case, when you're looking at this Ikage figure, I think it's beautiful, and it's already sold out here at the, you know, at the here in the Tsume website. $415. I think it's a fantastic piece, because first of all, you know, it has Dominique. It's 2 pieces in one, which is amazing in my opinion. Cobra with Dominique. Interesting. Cobra looking amazing as always. They did a really nice job, and it being as Ikage and the detail and everything, and the price, to be honest, it's very fair for a 1/6 scale piece like this. Of course, we have seen other companies doing fantastic depictions of Cobra, but I think this is definitely up there in quality, and having 2 pieces in one makes it even, it's icing on the cake. Beautiful depiction of Cobra for sure. Nice detail. That's every angle. And if you go to Spec Fiction, they still have it on pre-order there. So it's $135. I think it's a great price for this piece. And, you know, Spec Fiction is a great company. So you can find it here. It's already sold out there, but Spec Fiction still has an allotment. So you can come to Spec Fiction for sure. The edition says, again, it's 500 pieces. The great thing about this one, if you're here in the US, is Spec Fiction, you pay $600. You pay also includes the shipping. It's free in the US. That's another great thing about Spec Fiction, is because you can find, it's a great company to deal with for sure. Again, but that's not the only thing that we have seen that Tsume has released. Also for Cobra fans, they also did the life-size Buzz, which is almost $2,000. It's expensive for sure. $200 exclusive. It's technically the same expanded version of the statue that we see in 1/6, but now of course there's a statue. It does have a light up feature. Look at the planets right there, you can see them. That's a really cool concept, and beautiful there. And it does have an interchangeable arm. I think you can pose it in different ways. His cigar that is so like iconic is there. It's also depicted. He's pointing at you with the Psycho gun. And then the light up feature of the Psycho gun. His arm transforms into a gun. Very, very cool concept there. That is the way to do it. Cobra has a lot of fans, and of course he can just, you know, post it that way. So that is very, very cool. Saturn. I think that's the moon. But very, very, very cool. They did a really nice job. Mars too. So they did a really nice job with this one. Again, you can come to Spec Fiction and get it there. As you can see, it's almost $3,000, man. It's more expensive than the other side. It's way more expensive. And I don't know why, because yeah, if you do the math, yeah, it's almost that amount. Maybe it's already counting the size and everything and shipping and the cost and the tariffs and all that. It's really expensive. But beautiful nonetheless. Beautiful depiction of Cobra. So yeah, just for reference, definitely, again, Tsume continues to do impressive things as a company. They're not afraid to really have those concepts there, for sure. All right, so if we're moving from this, let me go to the next company in our list. And for that, actually, I want to be here at Spec Fiction, because I want to cover another of the new releases. Of course, these are the feature pre-orders. So we're going to look at this. Of course, you know, Spec Fiction is, you know, they cover so much. They have so much stuff going on then. But there's another company that I definitely sometimes haven't really had the opportunity to talk much about it. Have talked much about it. But I think they do really nice things. And that is this company right here. As I was talking earlier about Senseiya, Zodiakos Studio is a company that, you know, they have done really different things. These, I think, companies from China, and they do amazing work. But what impresses me right now is the stuff that they've been doing for Senseiya. They have done a lot of different things for Senseiya. And here you can see the different stuff that they have. They have a lot of statues, as you can see. But they have this on pre-order this week or recently. And they have the Sagittarius Aiolos. As we talk about the stuff that is being produced by Iron Studios from Senseiya, looks amazing as a 110. But if you're looking for something bigger with a lot of way more detail and a lot more pricey, definitely the stuff that Zodiakos is doing is definitely impressive. This is $170 for the regular version. And impressive base, I think, looks great. The detail on the armor. The exclusive regular version is just like that. The exclusive version has, you know, a little more detail. But to be honest, you can just go with the regular. You don't need to go for the super exclusive. Even the regular is great. I like how they do the interchangeable. But, you know, in this case, the torsos, the heads. So even the regular, just with the two right there, it's just more than impressive. You don't need the exclusive per se. The regular looks very nice just that way. But of course, it goes to time that people also want exclusivity. So you want to go for the exclusive, go for it too. You know, look at this. The arrow, of course, of it, and the power effect is different. But I think you can also remove it. I think. So, interesting. Presented that way. If you can remove it, fine, great. That's what it should be, in my opinion. So that's $905. It's not cheap at all. It's not cheap at all. But yeah, definitely it's another thing that Zodiakos has been doing. But when you look at all the stuff that Zodiakos do, particularly with Senseiya, look at this stuff they've been releasing. Of course, the Shaka Gold, that is another one that is being on pre-order. They got Aiolos Gold Senseiya. So Aiolos, you got it, this right here. But also you have it as a 1/12 scale figure. So, you know, Sagittarius has been doing not only the expensive stuff, they're also doing the smaller figurines or figures. And even at that, you know, as a museum post is fantastic, because this can be displayed with the others when they have. And again, look at the price, $70. There's something that is really, you cannot really forget. It's polyurethane, it's PVC. I think we've seen a lot of this with companies understanding the importance of maintaining the price. Here you can see, so they have done some of that. They had the figures where you can actually get them all. So if you're not have the money for the everything, you can have them all separate. That's a nice, it reminds me, for example, back in the day when when the toys started coming out, when this show was watching it, you have the Bandai toys. And the Bandai toys, people just buy them. They were not postable, but they were like so fragile, and the paint, they were super expensive. And people loved those. They wanted those. Nobody can afford them. I never had them, but I had a couple friends that had them, and they were like pretty much just for display. Kind of reminds me of that time with those Bandai figures, which is the way you want to have it. But, you know, again, you know, this company not only has been doing that, it's been doing other things. We talked about them before, like the PZs. We talk about it. The Shura. This is another one too. 1/6 scale. Think. Yeah. I like how they did this. It's something that I was mentioning with the Iron Studios, that you don't need to have the effect that they did with the power. The way they did it here, and the effect is just portrayed that way. That is very, very cool. Look at that. Capricorn definitely doing his thing with his sword. And they represent it really nicely, the effect, without having just to go crazy. But look at all the statues so far Zodiakos has been doing in the whole collection. The Zodiakos statues are perhaps one of my favorites so far. They're not cheap, but they have done really amazing work with all these pieces, and they continue to do it. Yeah, look at all the stuff they have done for Senseiya. They continue to impress, and the action, and it's a company that definitely has been doing really neat stuff. Look at this one. This is Cancer Death Mask. I think this is available right now. $1,000 for the exclusive, representing the power. The way they did the effects right there, that is very unique and kind of freaky, because some of the stuff is hanging might be very, you know, easy to break in a way, but all the way they represented the lines, very cool concept. Very cool concept. Again, Zodiakos is one company that impresses me because what they're doing. I'm impressed by their genius, if you call it that, genius, because there's no other way to put it. The way they're representing this, the effects, and, you know, very cool, very nice company for sure. So yeah, this is what really Zodiakos has been doing. Again, a company that you need to keep an eye on. I think they do amazing. If you're a Senseiya fan, then by all means, you know, this is something that you need to look up. Now let's go now to Prime 1 Studio. I'm coming to Prime 1 Studio. I think we come into this kind of wrong, but in any case, I'm gonna go there. Trending or new products. Let's look at the new stuff from Prime 1 Studio. I'm gonna skip this hollow 1/5 scale statue. I'm really not familiar with the franchise as a whole. It's not a bad piece. Matter of fact, we can look at it first, just for those who might be knowledgeable. Only a few spots left, for $99 for the bonus version. This is Spice and Wolf Merchant meets the Wise Wolf. I'm not necessarily a fan. I know much about this. I don't know if it's an anime. I don't know if it's a manga. I don't keep up with everything that comes out, or a video game. I think it's just art. But this was, of course, at the most recent presentation. It comes with a bonus head part, which technically is kind of the same. Oh, I don't know. It's just expression in the mouth is different. But although I gotta give him credit, the base is very cool, very clean, very classy, artistic. Looks like marble, like Italian marble, Greek marble. Concept interesting. That apple. So for those who are fans of this, price seems to be fair. It's 1/5, so it has a really nice, you know, really nice scale. Nothing wrong with it. And that is very neat, I guess. So yeah, that's what we said. The dimensions, 40 centimeters high. But what I really want to look at, of course, is these two pieces right here. I want to start first with the Batman, the Berserker Rage Mode quarter scale statue. This is one that was highly anticipated. It seems that it's doing well. There's the regular version, there's the deluxe version. The edition size is 350 for the deluxe. For the regular, is still to be disclosed. But this is, of course, a crossover between Berserk and Batman. And it seems a lot of people are very excited for it. I think if there's a character in the DC universe that lends itself to it, it's definitely Batman. And here you can see, of course, you can see that image of, that's Bane. But looking at this, the bonus part, you got swappable head parts, which is kind of cool. He does seems to have light of features, and that Bane, man, is huge. And look at that axe. Super huge, definitely plays the part with Berserk. The concept, the crossover is very, very neat. Look at all the details. It's bloody, it's dark. Definitely fits so well with Berserk. The light up. This is a warrior you don't want to miss. You don't want to mess with him for sure. The extra portrait has his own stand. There's 98 photographs here. We might not see them all. But just that axe. The LED illumination in his in every detail that he has. Look at his mask and his eyes. That is neat. Swappable parts enough. The axe, the sword, everything you can think of it. They're adding so many different things. That LED illumination that you can see right there. I don't know how deep is going, how profound is going to be, you know, how the view is going to be in person, but knowing Prime and Studio, definitely there is a look at these dimensions. Look at the axe. Even the whole axe is so big that they have the effect of the blood coming out just to hold it. Otherwise, it would be shaking. Some problems that we have seen with other pieces, even though we saw one of the videos that we saw, what was that from Bubblegum Crisis? That the gun, it was kind of, even the video was shaking. So yeah, it can shake. So I think that is a good concept. It's a good way to do it, actually, to hold it to that way. You can see that this becomes a stand, really. Very smartly done. And that Bane, man, impressive. This is an impressive piece. Let me go back and look. Look at Bane. Wow. This is a really interesting concept. Dark, unique, fresh. Extremely well done. Very well done. Yeah, they did a fantastic job. What, you know, the idea that they came up and as they developed the idea and they design everything and came up with the concept is unique, it's different, and definitely it's a very exciting piece for sure. Even in all its glory, for sure, is very exciting. Not cheap at all, but definitely exciting just to look at. So yeah, kudos to them for doing that. Now the next thing that they release would be this. If you are a Godzilla fan, of course, Godzilla -1, a fantastic film for sure. I really enjoyed it. They have this bonus version. This is also available at Sideshow. $16.99 for this. Of course, they've been doing a lot of this bus, and they've been fantastic. I think this is a fantastic version of it. And look at the bonus version. Actually has like a little statue, like a mini statue to go alongside it, like a companion piece. Is that what it is? That's what it appears. Let me see. Now I got my curiosity. It says, okay, so specification, oh, it's only region exclusive, so it's only gonna be available in some areas. So the bonus version doesn't say. LED light up feature, mouth, dorsal fin, Godzilla miniature statue is the bonus part. That is miniature statue. That is awesome. An LED power supply method to be disclosed. Please prepare batteries, USB cables, all the necessary items depending on the final power supply method. So they haven't decided how they're gonna power it up. In any case, going back. So you get this mini statue. Light up feature. Pretty strong. Hopefully they actually do USB or something, because you're gonna need a lot of power for all that. But look at the mouth, the fins, the height, 87 centimeters tall, pretty tall. And look at the mini statue to go alongside it. Very nice detail. Companion to it. The mini Godzilla size. Very, very cool statue or bus. Highly detailed. Like how they did the water effect. in that base, and definitely in the title, of course, the logo of the film. Impressive. With the light feature is going to be super impressive. Nice paint job, the scales, all of that, the detail, ton of it. And that mini statue is definitely the variant or variation of the statue that they also produced for the film. That's cool. Very nice job. Definitely they did a really nice job with this one. Look at that video. It was impressive for sure. And they did the film, of course, here, as you can see. They already have the statue. We talk about it, I think, $2,000 in stock. Still the bonus versions in stock. But yeah, continue to be kings. Definitely Prime 1 Studio when anything that has to do with Godzilla. They still doing amazing work. Okay. All right, so this is for Prime 1 Studio today. Now let's talk about the final piece. The final piece. And I'm going to take you to PCS Collectibles. We can also go to Sideshow because they also have it there. But I'm going to use PCS Collectibles for reference. And then I'm going to use also Sideshow just for a reference. Any case, right there. Last week we talked about PCS a lot too, but today I want to talk about the Fine Art Statue Bust Deluxe. There's two different versions of this amazing bust. I think this is the best, and I'll be honest with you, the best bust that PCS has created. So many busts, some of them are okay, some of them are too busy, but I think the concept, it's very in this case applies really well. It was done really well. So let me see if I can tell who was the actual sculptor. I don't know if the description presented it. Something that they normally don't do, PCS, which is always a bummer for me because I wish they were more open to share that information. I may find out. It's $1,500, $13. It's just right there. MSRP is $15. But of course, you buy it now. The early bird pre-order pricing is $13.50, so you get a discount for those who buy it early, so you get a 10%. Now, let me see. I'm gonna try to get there to show you. Right there, so we're gonna see in a moment. So they got the two versions, the deluxe edition and the regular edition. They're the same price. The only thing that I'm not crazy about is the fact that the deluxe is not because it's deluxe, it's just a variant. So they could have just simply called it the variant version because they're both the same. So there's nothing deluxe about it. The only difference, of course, is the one of the figures of Wolverine that is fighting Sabretooth is different outfit. You know, the regular has the yellow stripe version, the tiger stripe version. The deluxe version, which is the variant, has the brown custom. To me, that is not a deluxe. That is just a variant, and you choose the one you prefer the most. I love the brown version, so I'm gonna go for the deluxe. In a way, I'm not gonna pre-order it because I don't have that type of space or money right now. But in any case, let's look first at the if I'm coming here, let me look here at the regular version. Amazing. They did an amazing job. The sculptor did an amazing job with that portrait. It's very unique, and it has a lot of details, of course, telling that story, because this bust is more about telling a story. You see, of course, the wolf. You see, of course, Weapon X coming to drink that water, and he's hanging out with wolves. You know, if you have read the story Weapon X and some of the different variations of that, you will know what is this about. You know, it's great. I like that Weapon X, and I like the detail there, of course, of the Canadian tundra, if you call it that. You know, he's in the wilderness. Very cool. That is a very beautiful depiction of Wolverine. That story, of course, his beginning story and the continuation of the story is very clean like that. Even I like the tree trunk and all that. It's just awesome. There's actually two wolves now. I see that. And There's nothing in the back besides the tree trunk, which is fine because it's the other things that I don't like about some of the other busts that they have done is because there's so much stuff going on that honestly I feel that it loses everything because the stuff in the back you cannot really see. Here, you know, you're not really missing much, and it's angled in a way that is easy to see the other wolf as well, so it's fine. That looks great. And the back, of course, of the cowl, everything. It's on this side where you're going to see the battle. And this reminds me a lot of the Sideshow diorama, the classic Wolverine versus Sabretooth diorama that came out, you know what, many years early, in the early 2000s. One of the original, I think that was 2006 or so when that came out. But it's a beautiful... 2006, 2008, 2004, somewhere in there. I don't remember. But the point is that looks really neat. And of course, I like that you get in 2 statues there. And by the size, you're looking maybe a 1/6 between 1/6 to even 1/10. Regardless, it's a very nice detail, nice battle. It's awesome, to be honest with you. Look at that. Very nice concept. It's cleaner that way. Very cool. So you get in 3 different things in one. You get, you know, a bus, you get a diorama battle, and they also get a statue of Weapon X all in one. It's just great concept right there. And it looks really neat. But now let's say that you want the variant, and I have to be honest with you, I like the variant because I like the brown custom, and I think it fits really well with this one. Here you have Wolverine again. Same Wolverine, same costume, nothing else changes. The same thing with the Weapon X and the wolves, they're still there. The difference is here in this, the brown costume, which is my favorite costume. And I think it fits better with the whole concept on the colors. With, of course, also Sabretooth. It does feel way better. Very nice depiction. And very nicely done. Impressive for sure. I do like it. And look at those pearly whites. Man, nice detail on those pearly whites. The painter did a phenomenal job bringing it all together. It's very clean, very well done, perfectly done, perfectly executed. This is my favorite bust so far in this line. So you can come here, order directly from PCS. You get a 10% discount. You order directly from them. Or you can come and get it from Sideshow. Sideshow doesn't give you that discount. They have a full price. But the option is there. There's a lot of things that are coming from Sideshow, like the Aquaman Lore of the Deep is coming soon. So honestly, really a fantastic thing. Now, coming to the end of the video. I didn't expect to be this long tonight, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting to last this long. I expected that it would be easier tonight, but Iron Studios, you know, covered a lot of it because, of course, I haven't really discussed it for so long. I needed to kind of get out of my chest. And I know that might be hey, how you been, squad captain? Doing good, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. I've been doing great. Just busy with life and busy with work and trying to get back on the horse. Not as easy, but thank you for stopping by and saying hello. I appreciate you, my friend. But yeah, it's interesting. Definitely, Iron Studios. I think this year, as I mentioned earlier, I think Iron Studios has the potential to really go further this year. Yes, you know, to me, it's not about the size or scale because sometimes people confuse sizes with the companies, and companies, they have so much potential. I think on the toy world, I think Mondo has a strong start of this year. A lot of great figures. The potential is there for Mondo to keep doing it. Iron Studios definitely is doing stuff. PCS is doing stuff. Of course, Prime One Studio is always doing stuff, releasing some amazing stuff. But you know, this is the beginning of the year. It's just January, and then January still we have 11 months ahead. There's so much that can be change, and I think companies definitely need to push. Some companies, they continue on the same route, doing things that they are known for. Tsume Art continues with what they know best. Companies as more like Zodiakos Studio, they continue to do what they know best, which in this case is Saint Seiya. They're doing that. I'm looking at Infinite Statue, as mentioned earlier. I think there's potential for an Infinite Statue. I don't know what Sideshow's plans are this year, but definitely they're distributing more and more every day. Less and less producing stuff, but more distribution. But only time can tell. The time is fresh. Still the year has a lot of there's a lot of possibilities, and we just have to wait and see what happens and how they pan out in the end. But my friends, I want to say thank you very much, each one of you, all of you. Thank you very much, everybody that took the time to stop by. Early on, of course, we got Agent BP3M. Thank you very much. Batman, as always, my friend, thank you for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Silent, thank you for stopping by, saying hello. Skill Power, thank you very much. Skill Power 1. Cypher, thank you, my friend, for stopping by. Fresh News 247, thank you for stopping by. Motu Prince, thank you, my friend, for stopping by. And of course, Squad Captain, and anyone else that I miss. If you come here any other time, I don't know, if you decide to stop by any other time, and I want to say thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. You too, a late night trip, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Have a good night as well. I hope that you enjoy the rest of the weekend. And let me just say that in the chat. Good night, everyone. But thank you again for your support. Thank you for watching. Hopefully next week we don't spend that much time, but we will continue covering much of the stuff that, you know, the cool stuff out there, and all the collectibles that are inspiring people. And and definitely some companies are considering the price point. I think that's important. Iron Source is definitely considering that and really catering to that with something that is not a big size, of course, understanding that the bigger, the more expensive things are, but definitely still great. When is the next Battlefield session? Oh, I'm thinking about it. Maybe tomorrow. I've been thinking, I haven't actually played Battlefield in a while, but I probably stop by and do it tomorrow. I was thinking that I need to get back to it, so I do it. I haven't really done much gaming this past few weeks. I've been busy doing other things, but I definitely have the itch to get it done. I haven't even have time really to play much of my Switch 2, and I'm really looking forward to it. Although I've been doing other things, kind of updating some of my old consoles, getting controllers and getting few things and doing all sort of craziness that I normally do. I'm always having some type of project in my life that takes away from other things, and I'm always busy doing things, whether it's customizing things or whether even jailbreaking things or something. I'm always so curious about things, and how can I improve this, how can I improve that. But my friends, stay tuned definitely for my gaming channel too. I'm trying to come up with things to do there too. It's just the time. It's always the time. Take care, my friends. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you again. Bye bye.